So I spent like 4 hours recording this, but my recording crashed, which meant that I had to answer the questions all over again. Not every question is here because there were over 3,000 comments, but I did my best. I saw almost every comment, including the weird ones, so if you don't see yours, please don't take it personal. I want to thank you guys for the questions and 250,000 subscribers. It means the world to me right now, and you guys will never know how much this channel, this community, and these videos mean to me. So once again, thank you for everything. But there is something important that I do need to address. It has come to my attention that the Natlan Archon quest will likely not be completed until 5.3, which means that the videos that I had planned will be pushed back into January of 2025. If this is the case and the quest does not end in 5.2 and it ends in 5.3, then it's gonna be a while, but I do have a plan for if it does happen. With the footage I already have gathered, I think I could actually have a somewhat consistent upload schedule for the first couple of months of 2025. The first video will be Goku Natlan, and whenever that gets uploaded, I will try to have the subsequent challenges follow it in a pattern of every other week. So from probably January to March/April-ish, there will be a challenge video every 2 weeks. And for the extra challenges like the Pokemon Nuzlocke, I will try to throw that in as a bonus next to an upload. I haven't decided which yet. I will also put the best of 2024 video towards the end of January, since I don't want to have you guys wait like an entire month and a half for a new video and it's just a compilation. So it's going to be at the end of the first month in 2025. Alright, that's enough yapping from me at the moment, so enjoy like another 2 hours of me yapping, and happy holidays, since I likely will not be here during the time that they occur. So let's go ahead and start the questions. When will I oil up? When did I start playing Genshin and why? I started playing Genshin in, I believe, 2021, and it just happened because I was looking for a game to install on my PC, and one of my friends suggested Genshin because we wanted to play it, but we had Xboxes at that time, and eventually I got a PC, so I just remembered we talked about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I could play it on here, so I just installed it, and it's been installed ever since. If your fan base is called the Pack, am I the Alpha Wolf? Who else? Am I mentally prepared for the second Hydro Traveler playthrough? No, I'm caught up on Natlan right now. I hated it. Hydro Traveler is proof that Hoyoverse does not play their games. I don't know how someone made a character like that and said, you know what, yeah, will I use the prototype Rancor and Traveler only in Natlan? You'll have to watch to find that out. Do I think Pyro Traveler is gonna be cracked? I hope so. I've had to play Hydro Traveler for much longer than I would have liked to in Natlan, and I'm tired of this character. Please, let Pyro Traveler be some type of good, please. Which character only am I looking forward to doing? The ones that immediately come to mind to me would be Keqing and Jean. Keqing mainly because I have an idea for what I would like to do for the video, and as for Jean, I think Jean will be one of, if not the best solo character, so I'm really excited to see if that theory will come true or not. What is my favorite individual moment from any of the challenges that I've done? For me, there's a couple that stick out. There's when I beat Aleph with Lisa. That was a huge one. When I was doing the no stamina run and I did the gliding section in the Dang quest that took over 2 hours to do, that was a really important one for me. The no teleporting unfinished comedy, when I was doing that and it actually worked, that was really a big deal, especially because I messed up constantly during that quest. But those are the main ones that come to mind. Those moments are pretty important to me. I love those. Who are your favorites from each element and why you like them, but one bad thing you do not like about them? I like this question. Alright, so for Animo, we have Kazuha. What I like about him is how smooth he feels to play and watch. Kazuha just feels amazing to play and he's a lot of fun, but his animations also work together so great. Like when you do the skill into the plunging attack into the burst, like everything flows together perfectly in the animation. It doesn't look jarring at all. It looks like one fluid motion. The thing I dislike about Kazuha, this is a C6 thing that I have. I don't like that the Animo infusion is only like 5 seconds. I wish it was much longer. I wish that it was more than just doing your normal attack string and then boom, you can't use it anymore. I don't like that. For Hydro, I'll go with Furina. What I like about Furina is I like Furina's character. Like obviously her lore, her design is great too. I guess in terms of gameplay, I like her being able to walk on water. She has really good idle animations also, and I like the stance swap. It's very versatile, and in the very few times where I use co-op, I tend to pick her simply because I can do damage and heal. But what I dislike about her is, especially if you're playing by yourself and you have a team of 4, I dislike how little Furina is like actually on the field, if that makes any sense. Furina's gameplay is just pressing Q, pressing E, and then she's gone. You're gonna see her goons more than you'll actually see her, and I don't really like that. For Electro, I don't really build too many Electro characters. I don't have a strong attachment into any of them. I guess by default, the one I use the most will be the Raiden. The thing I like about Raiden the most would be her burst. Her burst is so fun, and the first time you use it will be like one of the biggest damage instances you'll see on your account. It's really insane. I love how much damage she does. I love how it changes up her normal attacks, her moveset. It's really cool. What I dislike about her would just be her gameplay outside of the burst. It's literally just press E, then you're not gonna see her. You will basically not see her unless she pulls that sword out, so she's not really doing much. After that, we'll go Pyro. For Pyro, my favorite would be Gaming. What I like about Gaming is just his animations. It's so much fun going up and down constantly. What I dislike about Gaming, I guess I just dislike using his skill alone because you go up once and then you're done. You're not really doing anything else on the character. Additionally, I don't like how his skill works on water. It's supposed to be like a big deal that he can like do a bounce on water, but he gets one bounce, it barely goes anywhere, and that's it. I wish you could do like 4 or 5 bounces on the water, but I don't know. I guess Hoyoverse just hates fun. For Geo, my favorite would be Albedo. I love his design, his voice. I love the animation for his burst. The thing I dislike about him would just be his low damage. It's no secret that Albedo does not do a lot of damage. For Dendro, my favorite would be Alhaitham. I like how Alhaitham uses the 2 swords. I think that's a really cool design aspect, and also like how much damage he does and just how well he works with elemental reactions. I know that's a little weird, but Dendro has really good reactions, and it's nice playing a character that like fully utilizes that while being on the field constantly. What I dislike about Alhaitham's kit is how most of his kit is basically Kaching but another element. I think that's a little lame. Alright, and then we have Cryo. I guess for Cryo, I'll go with Ayaka. I don't use Cryo characters that much, but she's the main DPS that I use for Cryo. What I like about her, I like her charge attack animation, and I like her burst. Her burst just does so much damage, and it's really cool to look at. What I dislike about her would be her dash. I'm not a big fan of those types of dashes, and it gets annoying to play around. Am I insane? I think most people couldn't really bear to take a glance into my dark, deep reality, but in my point of view, I would say I'm pretty normal. What is the boss that I spent the most time with? I think the boss I spent the most time with is either the level 1 characters when I had to fight Aleph in the Ascension domain, or that very same domain with Lisa. It is one of those two, but I think it's the Lisa one that took longer. What happens when Mistahfeet meets Mr. Hand? I don't think anything will really happen because it'll have to be like an Exodia thing where you have to collect all 5. You have to get Mr. Head, Mr. Hand, Mr. Feet, Mr. Torso, and Mr. Legs. So you gotta be able to make a whole body. What helps me keep my sanity while doing these insane challenges? Most of the time, if I'm not streaming, I'm just watching something on my second monitor, or I have like the Opera GX pull-out video and I just watch something. Since I'm having to repeat a lot of dialogue, I'm just doing a lot of multitasking. I'm either listening to music or like watching dead meat videos, something of the sort. Recently, I started watching TV shows. Like I watched Game of Thrones when I was editing the Genshin guide. So I'll probably start doing that more, but most of the time when I'm doing something, unless it's gameplay, I am likely just watching YouTube. So that's how I'm still saying I'm just watching YouTube. Why didn't I post AR 0 to 45 in September? Because it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, and I just, while making the video, I kept thinking of stuff that I needed to add. So I mean, it's still not even a complete video, to be honest. There was so much to include in a guide video like that, so I tried my best, but even then it's not complete, and it just took so much out of me. That's why I didn't get it out in September. Can I and how can I send fan mail? If you're talking about fan mail and fan art, then you can send fan art to me on Twitter, and if you want to send art or mail, then you can just email me at mistahfeet@gmail.com. May I ask, will there ever be a persona or channel mascot of yours? Because you have mostly depicted yourself as a Giga Chad anime guy or being Furina's husband. It's funny to imagine that all the fan art of yours just being a guy, maybe a bit hairy because of that one ad segment for a chair. Okay, thanks for that, by the way. But it's just a guy who only has the letters M and F for a face. I have really not thought too far about doing a persona or channel mascot, but I like the idea of me just being a guy who has an M and F on a face. I think that's funny, so if you want to do fan art of that, then go for it. Do I actually call him Mountain Deer or Mountain Deer? I call him Mountain Deer as in deer for the animal, but if you really want to ship me with Mooncarver, go for it. It's a free country. I'm not gonna be able to stop you. How do you make content when there's no cons about you? Oh, stop it, you. I love you so much. Please don't die. You are going to absolutely hate December 2nd, 2028. How do I have the motivation to do these challenges like no teleporting? My motivation for doing this stuff mainly stems from 2 reasons. One, I'm actually curious and I want a challenge. Like, I actually wanted to know, like, could you actually beat it without teleporting? And yes, you really can. And the other reason stems from, I want to make content that's unique, and it's like, I want to make a name for myself. So, woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here. I want to make something that's, when you see a video that's like Mistahfeet, it's like, you know you're not going to get this type of content anywhere else. And that's what I strive for. I want a video that's uniquely me and it feels like me. So whether you're watching a Genshin Impact video that I do, or like another game I do, you know that, okay, this is Mistahfeet. I know what I'm going for. I want to make more like art. I want to tell stories because I used to make videos, and that's what they were. It was something that everybody can do. Art is something that everyone can do, but it's different because everyone expresses themselves differently with art, and I want to make something unique that expresses myself. So that's why I'm motivated to do this stuff, because I enjoy making content and I want to be myself. Why did I marry Furina? Well, that's just what happens when two people love each other, you know, equally. Yeah, that's just what happens. When we're getting the wedding photos of me and Furina, right now, here, I'll post like a photo gallery of like 5 to 6 photos for you to enjoy. I'm just talking right now because I don't have them edited, but I'll make it later. Do I have a stable job right now? If you call YouTube stable, then yes, I do. What is my best artifact, character stats, and weapon that I currently have? So I guess for all 3 of those, Kazuha would probably be the answer for that. I'd say he's one of my best characters. Arlecchino is one of my better ones. My Xiao's not that bad. My Lenny's pretty good also, so I'd say those 4 are probably my best characters. What is my favorite element? My favorite elements are Anemo and Hydro. How tall am I? Okay, I'm 5'8.5". Okay, I'm average height. Okay, I see what you're trying to pull here. How long does it take to edit one video since they're really good? Well, thank you. Editing a video honestly takes about the same time as recording it. So if a challenge takes 50 hours, it's roughly the same for editing. Maybe add 10 hours. What's your favorite solo run that I've done so far? So in terms of the videos, my favorite solos would probably be the Barbara video. That's my favorite character only, I'd say. What's the best stream snack? And I swear to God, if you say G Fuel, who kindly sponsored this video, well, I'm not gonna say that because it's actually Gamer Subs who sponsored this video. Jokes aside, they are the stream snack that I eat. I mean, I guess if you call it that, I mainly use their caffeine drinks, and it's different because they're not sponsored with me, I'm partnered with them. So if you want to, I guess, directly support me, that's the best way to do it, is to use code FEET at GamerSubs for 10% off, because aside from like the super thanks in the comments, as of now, that's the only way to directly support me if you wish. I'm not requiring it by any means, but because I get a portion of the money, if you buy like a cup or something and use FEET, I get a portion of it. So if you really want to support me and you like GamerSubs, then go ahead and do that. But if you want to try GamerSubs, I will always recommend using the try the free samples first. Why do I make anime openings for every challenge? It just helps the video feel unique, and I enjoy doing it. For me, I just love anime openings and just like how they're done in general, and it's a nice way to build hype for an episode. And it's one of the things where it's like, if someone likes a certain anime and they see that, it's like, oh cool, they did that opening, something like that. I feel like it's also another way for me to like express my individuality, and it also helps me expand my editing skills, so I just enjoy doing them, and I think it helps make the video unique. What are my top 5 favorite anime openings? So for me, in no order, Dragon Ball GT's Dandan Kokoro, that one, Attack on Titan Red Swan, JoJo Part 2 Bloody Stream, Your Lie in April's second opening, and for the last one, the first opening for the second season of JJK. Those are my top 5 favorites at the moment. What is your favorite game? There's one all-time classic that I keep going to, and it's gotta be God f***ing damn. How'd you know? What is furry sex poker?
He was special.
Would I rather have hands for feet or feet for hands? I'd rather have feet for hands because we as humans were able to become the most dominant species on the planet with opposable thumbs, and I would like to see how far I could go with having 4 of them, so I'd say it's an interesting experiment. Do I recommend playing Genshin? It seems as the game is mostly always received negatively, even in my videos, being a Genshin channel, so what are my honest feelings on the game? I do think Genshin is a good game. For a free game, you are getting so much bang for your buck in a game that is even better than most AAA games that will charge you $60 and $70. There's a lot of good in Genshin, but there's also some negatives that come with it. It is a very time-consuming game. So for me, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're ready to invest in Genshin, and not financially, I mean as someone who is willing to buy into the characters, buy into the story, buy into the environment, buy into the world, then yes, absolutely play it. Even if you're looking for just a casual adventure game that you play at your own pace, feeling no rush at all, yes, Genshin is a great experience. But there are flaws with the game that will turn people away from it, and even long-term players away from the game because of the lack of attention those flaws will receive. So do I recommend the game? Honestly, yes. I do think Genshin is a good game, but I can absolutely see why someone would not like it. Am I running low on ideas? No. I've got plenty left in the tank, believe me. I've had a list for like probably 2 or 3 years now, and there's still plenty more to make, trust me. I know that my last 2 challenges will be a combined no walking and no teleporting video, and the final Genshin challenge that I plan on doing will likely be a Baron Bunny only video. I thought of that since doing like the actual Amber only video, and I was like, wow, this ability is like terrible. I think that would be an interesting challenge. Why did I put a Twice song in one of my previous videos? Is there a problem that I put What Is Love in the Amber Only video, huh? Is it such a problem that I actually like the song Mizuchani? Is that really such an issue, okay? Back off, okay? Do you think that playing all of those challenges made you better at the game, or not so much? No, absolutely. It's specifically the Goku challenge that has helped me so much. Spending like 50 plus minutes on an enemy absolutely makes you better at the game. How many breaks do I take when doing a challenge? So, the challenges have timers, but I am not doing it like 50 hours straight. I am not doing that. The most I'll usually spend on a day is like 8 to 10. I usually go from like 8 to 12, maybe 14 hours when I record a challenge. So my breaks usually are like a lunch break, a dinner break, and then a night break. That's pretty much it. And those breaks tend to be like a lunch break will be an hour, dinner break will be like 2 hours, and the night break just be when I'm tired of playing the game, so I'll get off and then do something for like 2 hours until I eventually go to sleep. So I take about 3 breaks a day. If I'm doing something to where it's just recording in a day, I take about 3 breaks. Is there a chance I will ever do a triple combo of no walking, no teleporting, and no healing? I will do no teleporting and no walking, but I will not include no healing in that. That would literally be impossible. Is the Dane quest fun? Sometimes it can be, but, like I just did, Fontaine Act 6 with, Goku, and, no, it was not. How much money do I spend on each challenge? For the ones where I do have to spend money, I try not to go more than $100. The only time I spent money would be really to get a specific 5-star character, and the way I did stuff, for example, for the Archons challenge, I spent $100, so I was guaranteed a 5-star, and if I did not win the 50-50, then that account would be, like, the Dia challenge, stuff like that. So I usually try not to spend more than 100. How come I haven't said Skibbity on God Ohio Riz yet? There you go. Do I actually enjoy the challenges I do all the time? For the most part, yes, I do, actually. Because the challenges, it is a challenge. For me, it's so much more fun to start Genshin over than keep playing on my main account and one-shotting everything I come across and listening to dialogue that may or may not matter. I would much rather start over on another account and do a challenge because to me that is more fun and more satisfying. Now, is it fun all the time? No, because you've got areas like Sumeru and Fontaine where it's just a yap fest constantly and you're not really playing the game, you're watching it. And don't get me wrong, the stories are good, but it's not a story I want to watch 10 times. So yes, I do enjoy the challenges, but when it gets to certain parts, it's just like, alright, let's get this over with. I don't care for this anymore. Am I happy with the community I've created? And am I also happy to be a content creator? Yes. Yes to both, actually. I'm happy with the community because there does not seem to be a lot of toxicity. We have a lot of, like, I guess inside jokes. They're mainly reoccurring jokes with the videos, but I mean, we all seem to, like, have a good laugh with each other, like, especially on stream. There's not a lot of negativity that goes on during the streams. They're very fun. And am I happy to be a content creator? Yes, I am. This is a dream come true for me, so I am very blessed and grateful to have this community and to be able to do what I love. I love making videos. I love making people laugh, so being able to do this for a living is very, it helps me a lot. You're dying to know who was my childhood crush. So, there's 4 that come to mind immediately when you say childhood crush. There was, Teddy from Good Luck Charlie. Let's see. Android 18 from Dragon Ball, that's a classic. Blackfire from Teen Titans, and Mabel from Gravity Falls. Those were the 4 that I can immediately think of. Will I post HSR, WUWA, ZZZ content? I've gotten a lot of comments like this, so I'll kind of just group them into one. I'm very hesitant to do challenges on those videos, mainly because of how long it takes. I'm already doing Genshin content, which takes at least like 40 hours at this point to get done. It's basically a week of recording. Honkai Star Rail, it's one of those things to where it's like, I like the gameplay of Honkai Star Rail, I'm okay with turn-based RPGs, but I can't play them for that long. And Honkai's story is so long to where it's like, it really demotivates me to want to do a challenge on it. That's one of the aspects. The other aspect, the other reason I'm not too high on doing a Honkai challenge is simply because, character onlys I basically can't do. In Genshin, WUWA, ZZZ, you can do solo characters because you can dodge the damage. In Star Rail, you really can't. If you're fighting 4 enemies, the second your turn is done, you are getting hit by all 4 enemies. Assuming they attack, of course. They could do like a buff or stuff, but whatever. You get the point. So if I did a Star Rail challenge, it would not be a character challenge. It would rather be something that involves one of the mechanics of the game, which I have thought about doing. Star Rail's not completely off the table. It's just not something that I'm grabbing to reach for right now, just because I get burned out on having to listen through Genshin cutscenes, and Star Rail cutscenes are like just as long. Hoyoverse just has a yapping fixation on cutscenes, so it's like, do I really want to spend 50 hours on Genshin one week, then immediately do 40 hours of Star Rail the next week? It's just a lot for me. Wuthering Waves, I like the gameplay of Wuthering Waves. I'm still waiting for like more actual content to come out to see if I want to decide to do it or not. ZZZ, for me, I know ZZZ fixes the problem of the story because there's a skip button, but it's pretty inconsistent. Sometimes you can skip, sometimes you can't, it's whatever. But for me, the thing with ZZZ is, the gameplay for me of ZZZ is not as fun as I thought it was going to be. It's just, for me, ZZZ is a lot more fun to watch than it is to actually play. And it's just, to me, I'm not that interested in it, just to be honest. I'm not really that interested in ZZZ content. If I had to order the 3 gachas and which content I would want to do after Genshin, it would be WUWA, HSR, then ZZZ. WUWA is mainly just a matter of, I would want more content to come out for the game, and if I really would want to put that extra time into doing Wuthering Waves. Because I don't know if this is how most people think of me or not, but I mainly view my channel right now as a Genshin channel and not really a gacha one. I'll touch into the other gachas, but I don't make consistent videos on them, mainly because I'm just not as interested in them. ZZZ, I like the aesthetic and the music, but the gameplay, to me, there's just something that's kind of off about it. Just, ZZZ to me is just not that fun. Star Rail has gameplay that I can't do like more than 5 hours straight of. I already have to go through Genshin Story a lot. I don't want to have to do the same for Star Rail, to be honest. And Wuthering Waves, I like Wuthering Waves as a game, but in terms of making content, I would rather make content on a lot more other games than Wuthering Waves, if that makes sense, because I don't see this as a gacha channel. I see this as Genshin Impact, and I get that this is a gacha game, so people want to see more gachas, but the thing is, I'm not the biggest gacha guy. Should I DM her? You miss all the shots you don't take. Unless she's told you to stop, then you should probably not do it. Where did I first get the idea to do Genshin challenges? The Goku challenge stemmed from, I was having a conversation with my friend, and he said, you know, and we were talking about Genshin lore, and he said, you know, the Traveler canonically solos the game, so I just did a challenge to see if that was even possible. After that, it was one of those things where it's like, I did Goku Inazuma in like January, and I was like, well, I can't wait till August to like make another video like this, so I worked on the Amber only video, and then after that, I was like, well, since they give you Amber for free, I'll do a Noelle next, then a Lisa and Kaya, then it started with a Barbara, and just spiraled out from then. But aside from that, it also started mainly because of like small ant Pokemon challenges. It's a lot of Pokemon themed challenges, but I just changed the rules to fit Genshin stuff. Have I ever had a channel before this one? And if not, what specifically made you decide to make this type of content? Okay, so I think this might be the first time I'm saying this, but this is not my first channel. Back in I think 2020 or 2019, whichever one, I actually had a channel where I made Overwatch videos. It did not last long. I think I made a total of 6 videos, and I had like 2 subscribers who were both my friends, but yeah, they were like Overwatch montage videos. But yes, this is not my first channel. And what made me want to do this now? Genshin was my fixation at the time, and I wanted to get back into doing YouTube videos. I got that itch again, so that's just how it came to be. How many accounts do I have in total? So there's my main account and a second account that I made a long time ago. So those are like my like actual accounts. As for how many, including the challenges, I don't want to think about that, so I'll let you guys do that for me, but just know this, every time there's been a challenge, that's a new Gmail. Do I have my sanity pills and my shelf? And if I had to cosplay 3 female Genshin characters, who might they be? So as for the sanity pills, I call them normal pills, and yes, I do have them. And if I had to cosplay 3 characters, specifically female, they would be obviously Furina, that's number 1. Number 2, I'll go with Ayaka, because she was my first 5-star. And for the last one, I'll do Mualani, get some of that mid-riff going, you know what I'm saying? What was the longest time you played Genshin before logging off? I don't have an exact amount. It wasn't like some monumental moment at the time where I was like, wow, I spent 20 hours playing a game, but I think if I had to guess, it would be around like 14, 15-ish hours. I think somewhere along that. Why don't I touch grass? Because it scares me. Meow or bark? Howl. Cats or dogs? I like them both. Right now I have a dog, but in the future when I'm like out on my own, I will probably get a cat first. How hard was it for me to start working with my voice? Extremely. I about gave up on the video because I could not stand listening to myself, but I just got over it and started trucking through it, because that's really all you can do. If you don't like the sound of your voice and you want to make videos, you just gotta deal with it. You're going to have to listen to yourself. What is the one character challenge you think you could have done better? If you're talking about a video, then probably Noelle. I'm not really happy with that video, so I would love to, like, so if I could, I would go back and fix it. As in my performance, I think the Xiangling video, I think I could have done better with Xiangling, so if I had to redo one with, like, a better build, I would go with that. What is the most annoying thing in my speed runs or challenges? I mean, you can probably guess it's going through the cutscenes all over again. How does it feel to repeat cutscenes over and over? It's white noise to me. I just completely tune it out. I'm doing something on the side most of the time when a cutscene's going, so I don't even care. I don't even notice them. I was pretty sad to find out that I got it wrong. It was a little disappointing. I'd like to think they pushed it back a week deliberately because of me, but nothing's gonna compare to the feeling when I guessed Naya's release date correctly, which will be on August 26, 2025. Talk to me then. Why the name Mistahfeet? So, a long time ago, I entered a Smash tournament, and I couldn't think of a name, so I just went with Feet because I thought it would be funny to hear the announcer say Feet. And shortly after that, I began doing YouTube, and I was coming up with a channel name, so I put Feet down because I was doing that for Smash tournaments. And I figured I couldn't just have Feet there, so I need something in front of it. And then I was also watching a lot of Zombies gameplay at the time, and one of my favorite YouTubers at that point was Mr. T Lexify, but the way he says his name is Mista, so I just put Mista in front of it, and that's how I got Mistahfeet. Have I ever thought of applying for a VA job at Hoyo for an upcoming character? No. Simply because, I don't really think I have the voice for it, and at the very least, I don't have a trained voice for it, so I don't think I would do that great of a job. What are my inspirations? I have too many to say right now, so here, I'll put up a ginormous list, and, there you go, you can pause if you want. What inspired me to make Genshin content? So, in terms of, like, content creation, I've had a lot of content creators that have inspired me, but specifically for Genshin content, Genshin was my fixation at the time, and I watched a video from Tectone, and I'd been constantly on the fence about getting back into content creation, but I watched a video of his, and I was like, alright, I'm gonna do this. So I started planning out ideas for videos, and the first ever idea for a video I had was the Ayaka video that I made, and it's just a montage of Ayaka's dash getting stuck on various different, like, ledges and stuff. But yeah, that's how I got inspired to, like, start making Genshin content. How long does it take to plan videos like No Teleporting Challenge? Most of the time, I don't have that much of a plan. Usually if I think of something that, like, I know will be a problem in the future, I'll just go into my main account for, like, 30 minutes and see if I can find a way to work around it. But other than that, there's not much that goes into the actual planning process. Like, the thing with, like, the Inazuma section, I thought of that, like, the day before I was going to go to Inazuma. I was like, oh, wait, I have to wait to do this. So there's not much of a big plan going into the challenges. How do you stay focused on your long Sigma male grind set challenges? The alpha has to do what he's got to do, you know what I'm saying? You seem like you know what I'm saying, Kenshi Kazuki. Who did I pick on character selector? I chose Dia simply because she was the only one I didn't have. There was no constellations that I was just, like, jumping out of my seat to try and get for. I picked Dia because I never got her. What do I want John Hoyoverse to fix, add, and delete? I'll answer each of those, actually. For them to add, I would like for them to add artifact loadouts. I would love that. To fix, I would love for them to fix dailies in the sense to where you can just collect all of them in the menu. We don't have to talk to Kathreyne every day. I promise you, it's not gonna make a difference to people. Oh, delete, I would love for them to remove condensed resin. I don't really see much of a point in it anymore, to be honest. Just delete condensed resin. And we could also add a skip cutscene button, but the main reason I did not suggest that is just because we all know that's never coming out, so there's no point even saying that. What are my favorite and least favorite aspects of Genshin? So favorites would be the music and the gameplay, like exploring the world, killing all the mobs. I love doing that. It feels great. Least favorite, probably the storytelling. The yapping gets really old, and it's really bad in the side quests. I really wish they would just tone it down. Will I show you my setup for gaming? It is literally just a corner, a desk, 2 monitors, a keyboard, a microphone, and a mouse. There's nothing special about it. If you want the specs, here it is. It's a pre-built PC, so here's everything you need to know. Please send you a video of me wearing a bunny girl outfit. Please, I'm begging you. It would only be the 2 of us. I'm not gonna do that. Check DMs. How long do you usually take when it comes to writing your scripts? It usually takes like a full day. Full day, maybe a day and a half. It takes a while. It depends on the video. Like, a character only takes about like a day, maybe less than, but for the longer videos, it's like a day and a half, sometimes 2. What times do I stream my challenges usually? Every time I stream, I will make an announcement and post a schedule, but most of the time is 10 a.m. US Central. That is usually the standard, but don't worry, whenever I stream, there will be an announcement and you will know. Are there any upcoming challenges that you're dreading doing? If so, which one are you not looking forward to the most? The one that comes to mind immediately is not taking damage. There is one section in particular I am absolutely hating. It is the part in the Dvalin fight when you are flying to him, having to dodge all those little air bullets. That is going to be a nightmare. I am not looking forward to that at all. What was my job before doing YouTube? Before YouTube, I just had like a part-time job. I worked at a sorority house. I was what they call a houseboy, and basically I just put food out, clean, wash dishes, basically kitchen work that does not involve making food. That is what I did. So for this one, I'll take it as which was the hardest enemy to learn. For that, it would probably be the Cryo Abyss Lector. I hate that guy. He has absolutely terrible hitboxes, and for most of the times I have to fight him, it'll last like 50 minutes. Like whenever I have to use a Dendro character, I absolutely hate it, and it's just annoying to fight. Why do I want to be a YouTuber? I want to play games, I want to make videos, and I want to make people laugh. Those are like the three main reasons. When is the face reveal? So there's two wolves inside me. There's one that wants to do a VTuber model, and one that wants to do a face reveal, and I'm stuck in between two, honestly. I don't know which I'll do. Who knows? I might even do both, but I don't know. Will I do an only challenge character with every character in the game? No. For the only character challenges, there will be the Standard Banner 5 stars and the Archons. Those are the only ones I have planned. I may do another like random limited 5-star only, or like when a future guaranteed character comes out, I'll do that. But at the moment, the only ones that are for sure happening are the Archons and the Standard Banner 5 stars. So for those asking for random ones like official only stuff like that, I'm not doing it. How do I complete the Genshin story so much without getting burnt out? Because I don't pay attention to the story. I have something going on the second monitor, and I actually enjoy the combat, so I pay attention when the combat happens, and when it doesn't, I am looking at something else. What should you do to keep your motivation for Genshin? I would say either take a break, play other games, or don't spend too much time on Genshin. Literally just do your dailies in resin and then just go off. If you feel burnt out, don't force yourself to do something because it's gonna make you feel even worse about it. Has there ever been a piece of media that has made an impression on how you think? Yeah, it would actually be Clannad and the Pixar movie Soul. Both of those movies made me think more about life and treasuring loved ones and the small things in life, so those definitely had an impact on how I think about and approach my decisions in life. So when I do streaming, what I plan to stream on YouTube as well. I'm not fully against the idea of streaming on YouTube. I just like the UI and general feel of Twitch more than YouTube streaming. I'm not against streaming on both platforms at the same time. My main problem is I don't know how one chat would feel basically being ignored, because I'm not going to be able to pay attention to both at the same time. If one chat is okay with being ignored the whole time and just talking to others in the chat, then I guess, yeah, I would be fine with it, but I can't pay attention to both sides. What was my favorite and least favorite Genshin challenge video? As in the video itself, my favorite would be the no healing video. I love that video a lot, and the least favorite would be the Noel only video. To me, it's just not that good of a video. It's just montage heavy. The audio's all out. I don't like the video that much. Will I ever do a Genshin challenge where you are blind? Yes, I have thought of doing that. I have thought of doing a blindfold challenge. How do I feel about people using literally the same jokes I made without giving credits? I'm not really aware of this because I don't really pay attention to much Genshin content. I try to just stick to myself, but if that is the case, then that's pretty lame, to be honest. I mean, like, if you're doing something as a reference, that's whatever, you can do that, but if you do it multiple times, that's just copying. And I know that there's the old saying where it's like, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but I view that as not a good saying in content creation, especially when you finish the actual quote, because the actual full quote is, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, that mediocrity can pay to greatness. So it's like, why would you strive to do something mediocre instead of trying to be great and do your own thing? That's how I view it. If you say a joke and it's like a reference to one of my videos, it's like, whatever. If it's like clear that it's a reference, I guess it's fine. But if it's just blatant joke stealing, then that's pretty lame. That's pretty corny. Can I share an interesting story from my childhood? If I can't think of one here, I'll play one from the previous video. Some Mistahfeet lore. I can tell you about how in 3rd grade, there was a kid in my class who had tried to cut off his male parts with scissors. I remember that, yes, because it happened at my lunch table. 3rd grade, we were leaving our classroom. He grabbed the scissors from the table, and then we went over to the cafeteria. Once we made it to the cafeteria, he was like, I'm gonna cut it off. Then he put the scissors down there, and he started cutting it. He was just like, ah! He did not get far. He did not get far. After he put a little bit of pressure on it, he stopped immediately. Yeah, but that was the story. Thoughts on Hoyoverse locking really good mobility behind 5 stars, exemplars, Natlan characters? Even before Natlan came out, I felt like we needed to have better mobility because the game's just getting so big. And it's like, it's cool that we're having this, but I don't like how, for example, with Kinich, you can grapple 2 times in Natlan, but once you leave Natlan, you just can't. I don't really like that personally. I would have it to where their benefits stay in and out of Natlan. It's like, if you're gonna lock good mobility behind them, just go all the way away with it. Make it full FOMO. Just do that. How did you make your script for your video? Like, how do you manage to be so funny and like, how did you manage to get so funny and creative? I can't really tell you, to be honest. How I write the scripts is I have Google Docs on my one monitor, and I have all the videos in Premiere. I also have notes for the important stuff, so it's like at 17 hours, I'll be at like Inazuma, and I'll make sure to like write something along those lines. When it came to being funny, I don't know, honestly. I never really viewed myself as being that funny, but like in school, I'd make people laugh, so I guess it just works. I'm very thankful that the jokes I would say in school and like in real life translate well to online, because that was one of my biggest worries, would be that I didn't know if people would find my content funny on YouTube, but I'm glad that people do. As in how I managed to do it, I couldn't really tell you. I've got a lot of inspirations for like how my humor comes from. It's really hard. I can't give you like a discrete answer about that, I'm sorry. Which nation's Kathreyne do I go to the most for completing commissions? Mondstadt. For me, it's Mondstadt, mainly because the teleport is fairly close to it, and it's also mainly because of the crafting bench, and also, I know I said also a lot, and also because it's like muscle memory. I spent the most time doing Mondstadt daily commissions, so that's just the easiest one I go to, and also again because that's where I collect my crystal flies. I get my crystal flies at the Windrise tree and the Dawn Winery statue, and since Kathreyne is right there, I usually go to the crafting table, get my 5 condensed, which is the dailies, then I talk to Kathreyne, so I usually go to Mondstadt the most. What would I be doing if I did not start a YouTube channel? I would probably be doing something around like sports broadcasting and eventually building up a resume to like work at WWE. I still think that if I didn't have this YouTube channel, I would probably make some YouTube videos, like some edit videos of like wrestling matches. I don't know, just something to get experience out there, because before YouTube, working in WWE was the dream. YouTube was always the first dream, but I had more doubts about that because there was like no path to doing YouTube. You just do it. And there was a lot of hesitation with doing that at first. So if I wasn't doing YouTube, I would probably be doing some local sports broadcasting thing to try and build a resume up the ladder to eventually work at WWE. In all the Genshin challenges that I've done and plan on doing, which one do you think is the most fun and suitable for mediocre players? If you're talking about a free character that's guaranteed, the two I'd recommend doing are Kaya and Noelle. If you don't feel you're good at the game, but you want to try one of the character challenges, do those. Noelle has the shield and healing, while Kaya just has good damage, short cooldowns, and a little bit of healing, so I would recommend going for that. If you're talking about a non-character challenge, most of them sound awful, so no stamina, no healing, absolutely not. I guess by default, the only one I could say would be no teleporting, but even that one's kind of like obnoxious to do. Like, I would say doing the no damage less summons only, but the thing is, to make that run fun, you would need to have good characters, and if you're not really spending money, you're only gonna get Baron Bunny, so that's not really a move for me. When I first started YouTube, did I ever expect to reach this point on where you are today? Has it lived up or surpassed your expectations? So the answer to this is like both yes and no. When I first started YouTube, it was the beginning of my sophomore year, I think, and my goal was, even before I ever got my first subscriber, my goal was to have at least 100k subscribers by the time I graduated college. That was a goal I had, but did I expect to reach it? No, not at all, honestly. Has it surpassed my expectations? Yes and no. And has it surpassed my expectations? Yes, in a sense, because it's like, I actually never thought I'd get this far. I had dreamed that I would, but I didn't think it would be possible. So to me, every day is a blessing to make these videos for you guys, and that's partially why I put so much effort into these videos. I try and treat every video like it's my last, and I'm always trying to improve upon my latest one. So, and I guess it hasn't really surpassed my expectations, but it's one of the things where it's like, as I get more subscribers, I feel like I have to elevate my game more and more. So, and that also helps like motivate me, because it's like, I need to keep improving, because it's like, I have a bigger audience, people are expecting more out of me, so it's like, I need to improve my script, need better jokes, editing, stuff like that. I guess at the end of the day, it's hard to say it surpassed my expectations, because I didn't really have much to begin with. What is my personal favorite meme in my videos? So I guess this is like also like my favorite reoccurring joke that I have. There's the obvious ones like the Musuno Hitotachi and the Rite of Dissensions. Those are classics. Some of my favorites are, I like Dang Quest is fun, just because it reminds me of like the first time I ever streamed, so there's some good memories with that. This one isn't talked about as much, but it's one of my favorites. It's the cool stretch with Chris. I don't do it that often, but that one's really special to me, because that was something I'd say like when I was gaming with my friends before I ever did YouTube. So if I ever like found something neat or broken in a game, I'd be like in a voice call and say, hey, get ready for an episode of Cool Strats with Chris, and I'd do something and just one-shot a guy, something along those lines. So whenever I found like an opportunity to actually say like Cool Strats with Chris, it felt really cool to me, so that's probably one of my favorites, even though it's not like a particularly popular one. What is my favorite anime and the anime that I hate the most? So my favorite anime is QnA After Story specifically, but for my least favorite anime, I have two: Ghost Stories and Anohana. I hate Anohana so much. Ghost Stories is just terrible, and like the characters make dumb decisions. Anohana to me is is just very overrated. The only good part about that show is the ending and the music. I didn't care for any of the characters, and since I don't care about any of the characters, I couldn't really buy into the plot that much. All of them felt annoying except for like the fat guy. We got some real wise guys here. Hoyo did make some good changes in the game, like the 45-55 wishing system, the free 5-star instead of 4-star every anniversary, the artifact customizer, and etc. But am I satisfied yet? Honestly, I'm happier. I'm not fully satisfied. I mean, they are making some changes, but like the artifact customizer, it's like, really, we have to wait a whole month for this? Like, why? The 45-55, it was like, okay, but to me, it's gonna just like feel exactly the same. The free 5-star instead of 4-star, that's better. If it were me, I would have had the option to choose between the standard banner 5-stars and also the weapons, because we're like, what, 3 or 4 years into the game? They might already have some of the standard banner 5-stars because of 50-50 losses. Give them the option to pick a weapon. I would have done that personally. So it's like, yes, they did make some good changes, but I still think there are some flaws in that change, but overall, it's a net positive. I would rather them be in the game than not be in the game. The only direction for Genshin to go in with changes is up. It's really hard for them to backtrack with changes, so as long as they're making changes every update, I'll be happier with the game. Do I evade taxes? I wish. Am I a Sigma Skibbity Rizzler in Ohio? Baby Gronk. If you ever did these hour-long challenges and the recording corrupted while editing or something, would you redo it all again or just go to the next one first? Luckily, this has never really happened to me while editing. The footage has never gotten corrupted, but funnily enough that you mentioned this, I was just recording Venti-only footage and one of the recordings actually got corrupted, but thankfully I was able to save it, so the footage is fine now. And it really pissed me off because it was a majority of Act 4 footage, so there's a lot of fighting in it and a lot for me to talk about, but luckily it was saved, so everything's fine with Venti-only at the moment, and I'm very lucky to have not had any of these problems yet. Where am I from? I'm from good old Mississippi. I'm a country boy, but not really because I mainly stayed inside. Do I think the Pyro Archon should be the best Pyro DPS or the Pyro support? I would hope a DPS because in almost every cutscene she's been in, she's beating the shit out of someone, so I would really hope she's not someone who just puts out a totem and swaps out. I would hope that she can at least beat some ass. What is a character only that I dread to start? It is either Mona or Nahida only. I feel like those two will be the worst by far, so I'm not looking forward to them at all. Am I a wrestling fan, and if so, who got me into it, and what is my favorite current wrestler? So yes, I am a really big wrestling fan. I got into it when I was about like 10 or 11 years old because my brother, he got a wrestling game, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I started playing the game, then I started watching, and ever since I've been kind of hooked. I've had on and off periods, but yes, I am a really big wrestling fan. Who is my favorite current wrestler? Currently, it's either Gunther, CM Punk, or Chad Gable. It's one of those three. Any favorite tracks from the game? So my favorite track in the game is Snowberry Tales. It's the Dragon Spine song. It's the piano one. Dun, 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 dun. That one, I did it terribly. How am I liking the Natlan music? It's good. Like every song in Genshin, it's really good. My favorite area is the one, it's over by the hot tub areas, the one with the water monsters. I like the music around there a lot. The battle music also slaps. I have to listen to that music for a very long time. They're in the Goku Natlan recording, so at least it's one positive. So when I see 100 damage on an enemy that has 80,000 health, at least there's good music. Do I plan on doing horror video games? Yes, I would like to do horror games, like FNAF and Resident Evil, as I mentioned before. Tues Tribune, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, I don't speak French. Favorite sport and favorite player from the sport. So right now, my favorite sport is basketball, and currently my favorite player in that sport is Derek White. He plays on my favorite team, the Celtics. He's so underrated, and every time he goes out on the field, he makes a difference. He puts so much effort into that game. He's almost always running. I love watching him play so much. The team would not be the same without him. I love Derek White. When am I gonna do Black Wukong gameplay? Right now. What is my major in college? And if I plan to be a content creator, how am I gonna make use out of that degree? My major in college was communications with a digital broadcast. I have graduated and I did get my degree, but it really hasn't done much for me. The biggest benefit I got out of it was being at a university where there's a discount for Adobe products. So instead of paying $60 a month, I only had to pay $20 a month, but now I'm at $60, so yippee, pirate Adobe products. But honestly, it has not helped me too much. The only reason I graduated was because I made a deal with my dad, and he wanted me to at least have a degree if I was gonna do YouTube, so I finished it out. But it didn't help me much when I was going through it, and now that I'm graduated, it still has not helped me that much. At what pace will I be making videos now that I would be doing more diverse content? When it comes to diverse content, I kind of want to like slowly get into that because I feel like it's not really fair to the audience audience that I built up if I just immediately post 4 videos in a row that's diverse content. But I can't give you an example as what pace I would like to do, but that does play a factor into why I want to do more diverse content, because when I see a Genshin challenge that takes like 50 hours, and then I play a normal game that takes 8 hours to complete, it really makes me think to where it's like, I do think I could be making more videos if I was doing different games. Jesus Christ. I can't give an answer now because I'm still doing Genshin content, but I do think eventually when I do more diverse content, it'll happen at a faster rate, simply because most games aren't as long as Genshin Story. Is my streaming / recording setup more of a goblin cave or a recruiting booth? Or a recruiting booth? Or a recording booth? Jesus, that took me like 3 times to say. It's literally just the corner of my room. That is it. There's no like official setup. It is a desk in a corner of a room with 2 monitors, a standard office keyboard, a mouse, and a microphone. Nothing's fancy about this at all. What is a challenge you thought was going to be easy but turned out to be harder, and vice versa? So the challenge I thought was going to be relatively easy was, in that sense, would be no stamina. When doing the no stamina challenge, I did not think once about the ladder in Inazuma or the gliding section in the second Dane's Quest. I did not think about that at all, so that completely took me off guard. As for a challenge I thought was going to be harder but turned out to be much easier than I thought, no damage, I guess. That challenge I had a little bit of expectations for, but like once I got past Mondstadt, I was like, oh, this is not going to be a problem at all. In terms of a character only, I don't know. I already have a general idea of how these characters work before doing a character only, so I'm never really surprised by any of them. When are we getting a redo of the Traveler only? That will likely come before Snezhnaya. I think that'll be the end of the Natlan season when I'll redo that series, but it's going to be a one big video, likely. I'm going to make it more of a traditional, like, character only, like how I do it now. That's the goal for the Traveler only remake. What is my opinion of the Genshin Impact / Star Rail community? I'm not really too involved with, like, the negative aspects of it, I guess you would say. I don't really pay much attention to drama. I'm not a big drama guy. So, like, the main things I look for in that community are, it's mainly the art and the content creation aspect of it. For me, what I mainly look for is the creation aspect of it for, like, so art, videos, stuff like that, music, and I love it personally. I think it's great. It's a very expressive community when it comes to that. I love the music that gets shown on YouTube that people make, whether it be remixes or etc., and the art that I see mainly on Twitter. That's the stuff that I love to see about the community, and that's mainly what I pay attention to. The only negatives I see occasionally are like gatekeeping, and it's like I never really understand gatekeeping. For me, most of the time, more is better. But when it comes to drama, I'm not really too informed on it because I guess you call it blissful ignorance. I don't pay much attention to drama mainly because I don't care. I mainly look for art, and in that aspect, I love it. Who is my favorite VTuber? So at the moment, my current favorite VTuber is Chibidoki. She's been my favorite for a while. At the moment, if I had to say there is a content creator that I know that shares my humor, that would be the closest one. She is the closest one I can think of. So that's the main reason why. I also like the color pink, and that's the main color she uses. So she's pink and she's also funny, so I like that. What impressed me the most about Genshin Impact, and what makes it different from other open world / gacha games? What impressed me about Genshin was, I mean, you can obviously say the music, but it's also just how fun it is at first. Your first time playing Genshin will be something you'll remember. It is so much fun, and it's hard to say why. The combat just goes together so smoothly, and it's got that nice layer of anybody can pick this up and play it, but there's also depth to it. And I guess that's what makes it different for me, in my opinion. You've got such a vast open world, a great art design, memorable characters that are pretty distinct and have great designs. You've also got simple gameplay that has a bit of complexity to it, combined with amazing music and amazing visuals. For a free game, Genshin really does offer a lot. Why do I use the outro music I use? The outro song I use is called Drifting Soul, which is from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I use it because whenever Pyra and Mythic came out in Smash, the violin arrangement of the song was playing in the trailer, and I remember hearing the song and I just thought like, wow, this is so great, I love this. So I found the original and I listened to it and I thought, man, if I ever had a YouTube channel, this would be the outro song. It was either going to be that or a song from the game Kathreyne. But a YouTuber at the time I was watching named SuperTF, he plays Overwatch, his editor chose a song from Kathreyne as his outro. And I did not want to do that because I didn't want to like knowingly copy a song from someone I was watching at that time, so I just chose not to do that. I did not use that song from Kathreyne, and I just went back with Drifting Soul, and I was very happy with that. I do not ever plan on changing Drifting Soul to be the outro of any of my videos. Maybe the visual, but not the song. That is a mainstay. How has life been for me? I can't really complain at the moment right now. I've just mainly been working on my videos. I've had a couple of times to play some other games like COD, Sparking Zero. Been having a lot of fun with those 2 games. I played Wukong back in August. Great game. Probably gonna win Game of the Year, maybe, but there were a couple problems I had with it. But yeah, I've been doing good, just mainly spending all day in the corner of my room talking to people online. Yeah, and I've been watching a couple shows. I restarted the Dragon Ball manga manga. I'm currently at the Frieza saga on Namek, and I forgot how good early Z was. It's just so good right now. I started Game of Thrones. I started and finished that, and what a great show up until like season 5. That's when the cracks started forming. In season 8, man, season 8 is just proof that I don't know how unemployment is a thing in the world, because that is proof that anybody can get a job. If those people got paid millions to write that, anybody can. But yeah, aside from watching a couple of dog endings, life's been good. I also watched Transformers 1, so that was really good. That was great to watch after finishing Game of Thrones. But yeah, I hope you guys are also doing well. How did you learn to edit, and what editing software do I use? So I learned to edit through myself. I did like Adobe tutorials, and I would just look up edits on YouTube and then try and copy that. As for what software, I just spoiled it. I use Premiere. I use Adobe products, Premiere, Photoshop, and After Effects. Those three specifically. Premiere has most of my edits. Photoshop is where I crop stuff out, and then I will put that on the timeline, then edit that. And After Effects, I only use if I need it for a green screen. And most of the time, for most of the anime openings that I make, a majority of that is done through After Effects. So, but yeah, that's the gist of it. I use those three, and I learned to use those three from YouTube. My college does not teach me anything with these products that I did not already know, except that G is a hotkey for audio gain, but that's literally it. Why is my voice so attractive? I hate my voice, so I couldn't tell you, but I'm glad you like it. Are we ever gonna see content from your main account? Sure, I'll pull this clip up from the stream where I'm doing like a little account review of the main characters I use, but I don't do much from my main account simply because, for me, I don't enjoy much of the limited in-game content that we have in Genshin, and I don't think there's that much fun content to make from it, so it's just not for me. Main account review, I have no idea why Jean is here. Here we go. Here's the Bennett build. Skyward Blade, level 90, 26, 1.9k attack. Not great. Not great. Here we go. Artifacts, noblesse oblige. HP, attack, HP, attack, and healing bonus. Kazuha, 1k EM. You know, casual, just 1k EM. Casual. So he's got that. We got him on the Freedom Sworn. Artifacts, here we go. 61 EM, 82 EM, 187 EM, energy recharge. 187, attack percent, that one's not great. And 187, that one's also not that great. Defense on every piece, yes, yep, I'm your relatable streamer, chat room. I am your relatable streamer. All right, and here it is, the Furina, the one that you guys have all wanted to see. Got a little bit of the HP percentage. Here, got a little more HP percentage, still not great. Still not great artifacts. More HP percentage. This one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. 42 defense. This one's not that. And this one's not as good. Not as good. And then we have crit damage as the circlet with HP percentage running wild. The crit damage. Yeah, you want to see the crit damage on this girl? Oh, boom. She needs more crit rate. That's mainly what she needs. Gaming, he's a bit of a new one. Gaming's a bit of a new one, still a work in progress. Not the greatest crit value, 58, 161, but he's using the hunter set, so he gets more crit rate. Crit damage, only that. Pyro damage, offset, a little bit, 20 crit value, 13% defense, ignore that. Wanderer, he's not really built. I don't use him that much. He's still got decent crit values, but I don't use him much. Yeah, we got him on Lost Prayer, but I mean, I don't use Wanderer that much. So relatable, yeah, I know. Ayaka, don't use her that much. She does not have the greatest values. Yeah. Her crit rate's really low, but she's meant for freeze. I have Blizzard Strayer. What does my desktop look like? No, the background is not Furina or Chi-Chi. The normal background on my computer is, it's this edited photo of the Joker skateboarding over Batman, and it's black and white, and it has a parental advisory on it. That's my desktop background. If I had to start my channel over again, what would I do? I would probably still try to do Genshin challenges, but also throw in more of the other games. I'd probably try and start doing different games earlier. Which artifact set do I think looks the prettiest? I really like the design of the artifacts for, I think it's the one that increases the reactions of bloom stuff, like Burge and Hyper Bloom. It's Something's Glow. It starts with a V. I really like that one. It looks really pretty to me. What would your recommendation be for someone who would like to start making Genshin videos? My recommendation would be to just write down a list of ideas you have for videos, rank them in an order of which you are most passionate about to least passionate, and then just start making. The longer you wait, the harder it'll be. You will never know how much you care about a project until you start working on it. So just the best thing to do is honestly just to do it. Will the challenges of other games be streamed as well? Likely yes. Not the randomized Nuzlocke. That challenge has been recorded since like last year, so that one's already finished. But for the other challenges, yes, they likely will be done. Where's the beating Genshin only using your feet video? I can't do that video if I don't have a camera, and at the moment I do not have a camera, so I can't tell you when it's coming. Once the main story of Genshin is complete, what are the plans? Once the main story is complete, I will finish the runs for the challenges that I would like to do, and and then I will just do non-genshin content. Am I going to continue all of the challenges once the regions come out? As it stands, the starter characters, so Traveler, Amber, Kaya, Lisa, Noelle, they will definitely be getting continued. As for every character, I do not know for now. It could change in the future, but I'm not sure because sequels don't tend to do as well. And maybe for the bigger challenges like level 1, no walking, I will likely continue them, but will every character challenge be continued? Probably not, but we'll see when the time comes. Will I be a full-time YouTube content creator? Yes, I did graduate college already, so I'm done with school, and I plan on doing this for as long as I can, really. What advice would I give to my past self? Probably just start earlier. Either that or invest in Bitcoin. Do I have any strategies for balancing Genshin and gaming with university? Literally what I did was, as soon as I got back to the apartment, home, whatever it was, did my homework, did my studying, then I gamed. That's how I balanced it. Did all the work as fast as possible, and then turn it in, and then boom, I'm gaming. Will there be a video discussing the Genshin rant video, and will I address the quality of life changes that Genshin added? Yes, I will do that. I will likely do that at the end of the Natlan cycle just to see what all changes have been added, but yes, I do plan on doing a reaction video to that. Why are my challenges so addictive to watch? Thank you for thinking that. The only thing I could keep up, the only answer I could maybe give is that because there's a story for each of them. I try to make it to where each challenge video has its own story. I'd like to think that helps, keeps it addictive to watch, and makes each one unique. Do I have a favorite aesthetic? I like city pop, like neon lights. I really like that, and I like 80s anime, that aesthetic. I can't really think of any others off the top of my head that I'm really into, but I can say that I do have some least favorites. Like, I absolutely hate steampunk. I think steampunk looks so ugly and boring. Will I host fan meetups at conventions? Yeah, I'm not against doing it. The thing is, I just, I don't go to many conventions often. Why don't I use 5-star weapons in my only videos? Simply because I don't get them. I got them in the Chi-Chi only video, but I could not level it past 40, so there was no point in using that. Do I have a life outside of YouTube? Yes, but it's not much. I go to the gym, I hang out with friends and family, I play games with friends and family, but that's pretty much it. I'm a simple man. Are there any videos that you wish you hadn't uploaded? Yeah, I got a whole playlist of them, but those videos I'm not exactly proud of, but it's not a full regret that I uploaded them because every upload I do, I try and look back on and see what I can improve on. Even if a video doesn't do the best, I'm still getting some value out of it because I know what to do and what not to do. Will I do an updated feat tier list? The people need to know. The feat, it's not really a priority, I gotta be honest, and I don't know when it will be a priority again. It's not something I'm particularly proud of. I mainly did it as a meme, but it's not something I'm itching to do again. When will I come to Brazil? Do I take some inspiration for the challenges from the viewers, or do you come up with it yourself? How do I think of it? I just think of a feature in the game and then just take it out. That's usually how I come up with the challenges. Most of the challenges I've thought of were like on a list that I made probably in 2021. Most of my challenges I've had planned out for a while. It's just a matter of when do I want to do a specific one. How do I get those breakthroughs while playing in a challenge? Do I sit in front of Genshin Wiki and research everything for like 18 hours, or do I just get an idea out of somewhere that works? So when it comes to like a potential obstacle in a challenge, immediately I try to think if there's any workarounds I can do in that account. If there's not, then I go to my main account and see what I can do. Like for the chasm, seeing if it was able to crawl out of the hole that leads to like the beginning of the Dame quest. Before I did that on the no teleporting run, I went to my main account and see if it was even possible, and it was, so it was no stress then. As for the wiki and research, I only do that if it requires like a certain quest. I did that for no teleporting with the unfinished comedy quest. I did go on the wiki and see what all happened during that, but other than that, no, I'm not constantly in front of the wiki researching stuff. Thoughts on the Natlan Archon quest and exploration? So for the Archon quest, for me, it's definitely not as good as Fontaine. I don't know if it's better than Sumeru yet. It's not the top, but it's nowhere near the worst. As for exploration, it is fun for the Natlan characters. I wish the way they explored in Natlan was similar to Outside. Like, I really wish I could grapple twice in the air as Knich and Mondstadt, but I just can't. I don't like that much. But I like what they did with the verticality and like using all of the different creatures and stuff. Natlan is definitely unique. And as for the Archon quest, as I said, I don't think it's the best. The Pyro Archon I don't particularly care for, but things may change in the future. Right now, Act 4 has only come out, so maybe there's like a big something that grabs my attention in the next 2 acts, but at the moment, I don't see that happening. But what's the best way to farm when you're 1, lazy, 2, free to play, and 3, a lazy girl who has to study every day? Well, I am 2 of those things because I have spent money on the game. But honestly, best way to farm is do your dailies and your resin. That's literally it. And if you have to go get daily materials, pull up the map on a second monitor, phone, something else, and then just go collect that, listen to music, do something on the side. But I mean, the best way to farm is literally to just do dailies and like spend your resin. Oh, does the character need books? Do ley lines. Do they need better artifacts? Do that for the day and get nothing. They need weapon materials, then just go do that for the day. That's just how I view it. It's that easy. How did I come up with the funny and attractive joke? I wanted to include a bit in the video to where it's like, and before you comment blank 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 blah 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 blank, I just wanted to have it be something funny, just like something funny and like outlandish, I guess, like something you would not like expect to see. Like that helps play into the joke. Like, how did I beat one thing without showing it on screen? But you say, ah, you're so funny and attractive. It's a way to add humor onto something that didn't really need humor, I guess, and that's how I came up with it. And also the element of putting attractive in there without having shown my face, I think also adds to it. Do I enjoy streaming challenges, and do I plan on streaming them from now on? I will stream some challenges. I mainly don't stream the character-only challenges simply because I can do them a lot faster if I'm not streaming, and when I do a character-only, I try to get it done as fast as possible. I'm not fully against the idea. If the demand is high enough, I will stream some of them, but I like to do them on my own simply because of how much faster I can get challenges done. How funny and attractive am I in percentages? So I've been told that my looks are a 4, but my personality makes me an 11, so do with that information what you will. Do I have an editor, or do I edit my videos myself? Yes, I edit them myself. I do not have an editor. I do near everything by myself. If there's like art or like a song that is done by someone else, I make sure to credit them. Most everything you see in a video is done by me. Who is my favorite Pokemon? So my top 3 off the top of my head are Dragapult, Greninja, and Infernape. I love those 3, and I can't really pick a favorite because it kind of swaps in between, but I love those. Who is my favorite legendary Pokemon? First one that comes to mind, either Giratina or Rayquaza. They're both just cool. Why do I like to watch Bluey? It's just a nice, easy show. You don't gotta worry about much, and it's a show that can appeal to everybody. That's one of the main reasons I like it. So it's whether you're like a literal infant or an adult, you can find some substance out of Bluey, so that's what I like about it. When I started playing Genshin, which character caught my eye the most when I started? There was 2. Like immediately when I first started playing, I really wanted Razor. I wanted Razor because I used him in the story quest, and I really needed a main DPS at the time that wasn't a catalyst, so I really wanted Razor. Additionally, there was also Kazuha, because when I was watching other YouTubers and streamers, they all had Kazuha, and he looked so fun to me, and his animations were cool, so I really wanted him. Where do I find all of the memes in my videos? It's either me having like a specific memory of a clip from a show and being like, oh, that would work here, or it's me scrolling through social media and I think something's funny, and I just do that, edit it a little bit, and make it fit to a Genshin scenario. That's usually how it goes. Is Mistahfeet brat? I feel like that's a question better asked for you guys than it is me. Am I brat? Let me know in the comments down below. Does my ass hurt when I play for hours? Sometimes, but it's not a very often occurrence. Sigma on the wall. Who's the skibbidiest of them all? How old are you guys? What is my age? I am 22 years young. I'm starting a Nuzlocke and would like the advice from the king of challenges. Any tips or advice you could give? Main things I can say are to manage your stamina when in a fight. Be sure to save it for dodging. Don't just spam it with charge attacks or running around. And the other one is, if you are allowing food, manage that and do not forget to use it. Those are the main things I can tell you right now. What is the challenge you would recommend for someone that's in the late game and wants to try something new but doesn't want a regular run? I would recommend doing a Kaya only, simply because it's a nice, easy challenge. You have to use one character. You got to keep out around that, but most of the enemies are going to be weak to cryo, so you're not going to struggle against too many things up until you reach Sumeru. Why do I not do the Wanderer's Interlude Archon quest in my challenges? It's mainly because it's not required. The J Chamber quest isn't required either, but I only do it because I thought it was required back then, and I'd already done it on so many accounts, and I figured that it's only fair if I do it for the other one, so that's why I do that one. But I don't do the Wanderer's one because it's not required. Who is my favorite VA in all of Genshin / Honkai? It's a bit of a tie between Zach Ether's VA and Koi Dao Albeda's VA. I like Koi Dao mainly because his voice is exactly what I imagined Albeda's would be like, and I like his delivery for all the lines. It's perfect to me. And Zach is also another one of my favorites because I've actually met him, and he's just a really nice guy. I had like a 2-hour wait in line trying to meet him, and he was never tired. He always talked to people. He was the first one to speak. It seemed like he actively cared. He would actively try and have a conversation with you and find out what you liked about a product that he was a part of, and would just have a conversation with you about it. He seemed like such a nice and genuine guy that he's one of my favorites because of that interaction with him, and seeing his interaction with the other people that were in line. Why am I so slay? Stop it. What do I think the Tsarita is going to be like? So I actually know exactly what the Tsarita's kid is. She's going to be a sub DPS because, like, you know how kind of in the story she's not really doing much. She sits back and lets other people do her voiceover work, it's gonna be exactly like that for her gameplay. She's just gonna, her skill is she's gonna, summon some, like, SNES 9 soldiers, and they'll go attack for her, dealing crowd damage, of course, and her ultimate is gonna be a big, icy crown that she puts on the field. What happens is it does damage over time, but a character can pick it up, and when they do that, they get a crowd damage buff, and it makes all their attacks cryo, so that's the Tsarita's kit. What kind of music do I like, and who is my favorite artist? I listen to a wide variety of music. Like, right now, my fixation is just, Dragon Ball OSTs, but, my favorite artists, I have 3. There's no order for them, but these are my top 3. I really like, Post Malone, Joji, and Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is the one I've been listening to the most recently. My favorite song of his is, like, Smoking Out the Window, Leave the Door Open, Treasure, Grenade, and Locked Out of Heaven. Those are, like, the main Bruno Mars songs that I've been listening to recently. As for Joji, my favorite songs from him are Will He and Demons, and for Post Malone, it is Stay. What was the most exciting Archon chapter based on lore alone? Well, when I was first paying attention to the quest, like doing it for the first time, which did I enjoy the most? For me, I really liked Leeway Act 3 at first. That was a lot of fun, and I'll probably also give it to Fontaine Act 5. That was also pretty fun for me. Like, learning through all the mysteries, doing the court trial, just the big reveal. Fontaine Act 5 is a great moment. I think in terms of story, that might be the peak of Genshin, for the main lore at least. I don't really pay attention to the other side stuff, so it could be different, I don't know. What was the first character I pulled? Aside from the starting characters, I believe the first ever character I pulled was, I think it was one of the Catalyst characters. It was either Sucrose, Yanfei, or Ningguang, but I'm pretty sure it was Sucrose. And as for the first favorite character, mine was probably Ayaka. She was my first 5-star, so I used her a lot when I first got her. Will I ever attempt to do a gliding only challenge? I don't know about a gliding only challenge, but I have thought of doing a plunge attack only challenge, so that's pretty close, so we'll see. It is kind of likely to happen though, I'll say that. Am I ever going to stop yeeting Bennett off of the cliff for the outro? As long as it is a Genshin video, no, I will not change it. Which nation's Archon quest is my favorite, and which one do I hate the most? So if we're talking about this in the context of a challenge, the one I hate the most is a tie between Fontaine Act 3 and 4. I do nothing in those. It's pretty pointless. And which is my favorite? I like Mondstadt Act 2, Inazuma Act 3, that's a good one to do, and I'll go Leeway Act 3. Those are all pretty enjoyable when it comes to doing a challenge. Why do I like to pick Ether in my challenges? I just like his design more. There's nothing more to it. I just like his design. What do I do with the accounts I use with my challenges? When I'm done with them, they just sit around and wait for the, whenever I needed to use them again. And once I'm done with the account as a whole, more than likely I will do like a giveaway for him. So if someone wants the Amber only account, then they can use that. Then I'll do a giveaway and bam, you got the Amber only account with her signature Rust. What was the video I enjoyed the most making? Amber only, mainly because there was like no expectations. I had no pressure. I made that video when I wanted to. If I didn't want to make the video at the time, I didn't want to work on it, I didn't. In total, that video took me maybe like 3 months, and that was just like me doing stuff in my spare time. And I had a lot of fun doing it. There was like no pressure, no stress. I didn't have a big enough audience at the time. It was just a great experience for me making it. I'm not mad that I have pressure now. I tend to work better under pressure, but that was a nice one because I did not have any stress or any worries about making that video. Do I ever get made fun of for playing Genshin? Because my friends do that all the time. Same here. My friends make fun of me for playing Genshin. It's just all joke. They don't really care at the end of the day that I play the game. They just give me shit to give me shit. Where's my Albedo? Did I bench him? Yes, I did bench my Albedo because there's not much for him to do at the moment. Do you still hate the Flying Ruin Guards as much as you did hate them when you fought them in that one challenge run? You're talking about the Solo Traveler Leeway video, and the answer is no. Mainly because I know how to deal with them, and I'm pretty sure that the only reason I had a problem with that one section with Goku is because whenever I was placing the rocks down, I was jumping on top of it, so the Ruin Hunter would try and fly. I'm very confident that was the only reason I struggled with that part. Do I gamble? I do not regularly gamble, but I have gambled before. I gambled on the Super Bowl, and it did not go that well for me. Do I ever artifact farm for any of the Genshin character challenges, or do I just like to suffer? I don't artifact farm for those characters simply because there's not really a need to. You're not going to get good artifacts until AR45, and as it stands, I never really have to go that far. And since I have plenty of artifacts to choose for just one character, I can just find the best 4-star artifacts that I have and just put them on there, using like 2-piece sets if I can. So for me, there's no real reason to artifact farm for the character onlys at this moment. What is my favorite weapon class? My favorite weapon class is the swords. Those are just my favorite, and they have my favorite designs for weapons in the game, so easily them. Do I have other hobbies besides gaming? I pay attention to wrestling, I pay attention to sports, and I'm about to get into archery and shooting as a whole. I've been doing shooting, but I want to pick up archery just because I think a bow is more interesting. Why? Because what was the biggest struggle when becoming a YouTuber? Getting past failure. When you post a video and it does absolutely terrible, it is extremely demotivating, but you gotta take those as opportunities to learn, and when you learn, find out what works, what didn't work, what people liked, what didn't like, and just use that to guide you into what to do to fix in your next video, and then just keep improving after video upon video. Will I ever get an actual girlfriend, or will I stay single? I mean, hopefully one day I do get an actual girlfriend, but at the moment, I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing and how I approach my life, just being with my friends and family, so I'm not really in a rush for one at the moment. What is the most weird Twitch comment you've ever seen? Probably when one guy said, what if instead of Mistahfeet, his name was Mistahfreet, and instead of doing challenges, he oiled up and did twerk-offs, something along those lines. What was my first game? I think the first ever game I played was like Sonic Heroes on the PS2. I'm not sure if that's the first game, but it's the first one I have memories with. Will I do another polling video? I will probably do one for either the Pyro Archon or Capitano, one of the two. The main reason I don't do them as much is because I don't enjoy working on those videos that much. Whenever I'm working on one, I usually feel like I could be spending that time making a Genshin challenge video, like editing something like that, so it's just, those videos aren't the most fun for me to edit, and once I start one, I usually try to get it done as fast as possible so I can focus on other projects. Will I admit that I'm Cat Noir and sing the Ladybug OP? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not Cat Noir. I have no idea where this stuff came from. I'm nothing like him, so I don't get it. 5-star that should be downgraded to 4-star status, in my opinion, it should be Shinhe. Her whole thing is buffing crowd characters, so I think by having her be a 4-star that shows up on banner more consistently than just being a dedicated 5-star banner, she would be a lot more useful for cryo main DPSs that are on the 5-star banners. Why am I in love with Furina? I mean, aside from just her great personality, it was really like love at first sight when we saw each other in the cafe. But here, I'll replay the story now for you. How did you and Furina get married? We met at a coffee shop, actually. I was just chilling in there writing my script for a video, and she walked in and I saw the dress and I was like, well, that's a little bit fancy for a coffee shop, I thought. But I didn't say anything then because I was so scared. And she kind of made like a big deal when she came in. She had people like surrounding her, and it was very clear that it was a big deal that someone of her caliber was there. But I was a foreigner, so I wasn't really sure like who she was. And she got her coffee and she needed a place to sit, but the entire venue was so crowded, so the only available spot was a chair right across from me, and everyone else was being rude. They wouldn't give up their seat for her. So she sat across from me and we just began talking, and she was just so happy to meet someone that didn't treat her like a celebrity and treat her like a normal person. So yeah, that's how it started. Yeah, a true love story. How did I propose to Furina and how did she react? So the way I proposed to her was kind of similar to what they did in Act 5 of Fontaine, where they put her in a box and brought her to the courtroom. But in this situation, she was put on trial for a reason that she didn't know of. And once everyone was there was a big crowd of people in the audience, and she was out on stage, and Nouvellette read it out, and they said, Furina, you have been charged with stealing this man's heart. Then I walked out and proposed, and it was really romantic. You gotta believe me. Who is stronger, the Archons or Capitano? Probably the Archons. I think Capitano could probably beat the shit out of Nahida. He lost against the Pyro Archon. Sorry, Arnold. He literally admitted to it, but I don't know if he's running the gauntlet. I don't think he is. Maybe if he was younger, like if we're talking prime captain, he could probably do it, but as of now, no. My goat's washed. When I do the only Archon challenge, will Scaramouche be included? Because theoretically, he almost became an Archon. Well, I think you answered your own question, Evgen. I don't know the rest of your name, because you said theoretically he almost, because he actually was not. So, boom, your argument's been dismantled. No, he will not be getting one. Why did I name your gang the Wolf Pack? Because I thought it would be funny, and I still think it is. Favorite and least favorite nation, and why? So, my favorite nation would be either Mondstadt or Fontaine. They're both very pretty, and they're both fun to explore. My least favorite would be Sumeru, mainly because I hate desert areas in games. I find them to be very big, but not a lot of substance in them, so I don't like exploring the desert, like, at all. Do I like almonds? Yes, I do. Big nut guy. Love almonds. Love peanuts even more, though. If I could be any fish, what fish would I be and why? I think I'd be a shark because I've just kind of got that aura about me, you know, so I think the presence I have on Earth would match well in the ocean, so I think a shark would best fit that. What are my thoughts on Venti? You'll find out at Venti only, but let's just say the Venti heads, the femboy fans, they're gonna be pretty happy with the video. Do I like Arlecchino? I like her in a, I don't hold any hostile feelings towards her. I don't like her, but I mean, she's okay. It's like, I'd give her like a firm handshake, you know, but it's like, I'm not attracted to her, if that's what you're trying to pull here. Have I played any of the Xenoblade games? No, I have not. I like the song Drifting Soul, but I am yet to play any of the games. If you are hitting the gritty and an inner dragon comes and knocks at your door, then how many kills should you have on Fortnite? Next question. Will I ever do an easier challenge like catalyst only or bow only? I've also seen suggestions for like using one element, and the answer is no, mainly because I don't really see much of a challenge in doing that. The game becomes so much easier when you go from 1 character to 4 characters, so I don't really see much of a point in doing that, to be honest. It would not be fun for me personally, so I don't have much of an interest in making a video for it. If I could have any weapon, what would it be? Probably the Mist Splitter Reforged. I just think that weapon looks so cool, so I would probably take that one. Rank all of your challenges from hardest to easiest. The best thing I can do for that one would be to just, I'll pull a clip from the latest tier list I had to make for it. The ones higher up are the harder ones, and then as they go down, it becomes easier. What would I like to see in future regions based off of fictional new things, mythologies, and cultures, etc.? This is a pretty interesting question because I'll actually need to think about it. What I would like to see more of would be creatures from mythologies, because that's one of the things I like. The monsters in mythos tend to be pretty creative and intimidating, and I think it would work well in a world like Genshin to see them as potential boss enemies. There's also designs for characters. I wish they would do more with designs than just an anime character in clothes from a region. I know that sounds pretty head-ass considering what the game is, but I would like it to where not every playable character is just a person. Like, they can have the model shapes of a tall male or woman because game design, but have the character be like a robot, half creature, half human. Ito and Siegeween are kind of like more of what I would like to see. Ito has the horns of an Oni, but aside from that, the aspects of an Oni aren't too glaring on the character, so I wish they would stick out more. I think by branching out into designs like this, it would make characters feel more unique and allow for more creativity to be shown by the developers. As for the future region designs, it's hard to say because Snezhnaya is maybe the only one left. We don't know. There'll probably be Celestia, but we don't know what it's going to really be based around. And if Snezhnaya is supposed to be based off of Russia, that means it would likely follow Slavic mythology. They might try and pull Nordic. I don't know, but that's not really like a Russian thing, to my knowledge at least. Star Rail's already taken some names from Slavic mythology like Svarog and Belobog. If Genshin does follow the Slavic route, I would like to see what they could do with a forest environment. Not a jungle, but a forest in particular. I think there's a lot of potential with doing that, whether it be gods or using creatures. And I think a mechanic where the enemies become more difficult at night or certain enemies spawn in only at nighttime, I think that would be pretty cool. Realistically, I don't see any of this stuff happening, but it's just my inner mythology fan just coming out. Good question though, you had me monologuing.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing!
Do I have any C6 R5 characters on my main account? No. I have one C6 character and that's Kazuha, but R5, I will never R5 a weapon because there's literally no point in doing that. If I could have any Genshin character as an action figure, who would it be? It would either be Kazuha or Furina. One of those two, I would love it. Why do I always play Bluey during the Scaramouche boss fight? I believe this meme started around I think Kaya only was the first one, but it's just to prove a point. For the first time you fight Scaramouche, you really don't have to do anything, so I just put a Bluey episode on there because if you do like one character, the entire sequence is gonna take about 8 minutes for him to like do stuff to you and the cutscene to start, so that's why I did it. 8 minutes is around the length of a Bluey episode. Do I go to therapy? Believe it or not, no. I am doing okay. I promise. Freaky font. What is my favorite elemental reaction and what teams do I use for that reaction? My favorite reaction is Bloom, but I can't really use that because I don't really have a Nilou. So I mainly use Burning, and my team for that is Bennett, Baiju, Kazuha, and Kanich. What is my favorite food and dessert? I'll answer both of them. For food, I'm a big pasta guy. I love pasta, chicken Alfredos. If I can get a blackened chicken, even better. But as for dessert, I would have to say one of the milkshakes from Cookout, just delicious. Specifically the M&M ones. Out of all of the challenges, which one was the most fun for me to do? Probably the no teleporting one, that and the no walking, mainly because I had stream. I had the chat to play along with, but I guess the no teleporting mainly because it didn't hurt my hands as much. I think me and the chat had a much better experience on the no walking. I think those streams were much funnier. In terms of like fun for like actually me doing gameplay, I would have to give no teleporting the edge simply because it did not hurt my hands as much. I would love to see you do a video with Yao Yao. Then you would absolutely love, can you beat Genshin Impact without dealing damage? Do I support trans rights? Yes. I live life by, I guess it was called the golden rule as a kid. Treat others the way you want to be treated. As long as you treat me with respect, I'm going to treat you with respect. I had a trans friend in college and she transitioned during college, and it's one of those things where it's like, it took time getting used to, and like sometimes I would have to catch myself and correctly use her pronouns like how she would want to be known as, but I eventually learned and adapted, and I mean, she was one of the best friends I had in college, to be honest. So as long as you treat me with respect, I'm going to treat you with respect. But yeah, I do support trans rights because it's just human rights. Trans people are human, so yeah. Did I beat Shadow of the Erdtree, or was I just busy Genshining my impact? Yes, I did beat Shadow of the Erdtree. That final boss was bullshit. What do I think about nerfed Radon 1.14? I couldn't tell you because I beat Radon before the nerf, so I'm one of the few. It was actually quite a lot. I don't know how many to be exact. What is my favorite FromSoft game and why is it not Elden Ring? You were actually correct. It is not Elden Ring. So my favorite FromSoft game is Sekiro, but if you don't count that as traditional Souls, then the order would go 3, 2, Ring, and 1. I have not played Bloodborne much. I've only played it at a friend's house, but I've never completed it because I was not given enough time. But yeah, that's my favorites in order, and I do actually like Dark Souls 2, and I don't care what people are going to say about that. What is my favorite From Software boss? My favorite From Software boss is easily Ishin from Sekiro. I think he's the best final boss in gaming, and one of the best designed bosses, like, period, in any game. He is a difficult but fair boss, which is a hard thing to do, especially with FromSoft, because a lot of times they'll just make a boss being hard just for the sake of being hard, while they have like a couple bullshit features about them, like Millennia or Prime Consort Radon. For me, there's not really any bullshit with Ishin. He literally tells you how to beat him. Hesitation is defeat. He says that every time he kills you. You just have to be confident and know what you're going for against Ishin. I can't think of any move from his moveset right now that strikes me as bullshit. He's just the perfect difficult boss out there. Have I quit any of the challenges that I've done? No. The closest would be when I failed the no healing the first time, but as you can see, I tried again, but no, I have not quit while doing a challenge. Would I ever post some of the old VODs from the old challenges? The only VODs available right now, they're on my VODs channel, but the only ones available right now are no walking and no teleporting. Those are the only VODs I have available right now, but in the future when I stream, the VODs will go to that channel, so yeah. What is my skincare routine? I put on cream for like pimples and blackheads, and I get a hydrofacial like every 2 months. That's pretty much it. Have I 100%ed all of Tevat, Natlan not included? No. I'm at like 99 for Mondstadt, 90 for Leeway, 99 for Inazuma, 60 for Sumeru, and 60 for Fontaine, so no, I'm not even close. Do I use shift or right click to sprint? Very important. I agree, this is a very important question, and my answer is that it depends. If I'm playing casually, I'll use right click to sprint, but if I'm trying to lock in, I'm gonna use shift. How long were you married to Furina, and what is your anniversary? So my anniversary with her is actually December 2nd, and we've been married for about 3 years now. Happily married for about 3 years now. I should specify. What are my thoughts on the best Genshin character ever, the favorite boy to ever be created, and the cutest character in the game, Mika? I disagree with like literally almost every word in that sentence. That character is so forgettable to me. If you removed him from the game for a month, I don't think anybody would care. He hasn't been on banner in like actual months, and nobody's made a big deal about it, but people are still talking about Eula not getting a banner, and I think that says enough. If I could erase a character from Genshin, who would it be and why? Mika, because if I did that, literally nothing would change. I guarantee you like 99% of you guys, except for that one person, would not notice any change in the game if Mika was gone. What is the most amount of money I've dished out for a single character? That would actually be Kazuha in the video that says I spent $500 for this character. So, but yeah, that is actually the most I've spent on one character. Do I plan to play any rhythm games? Yeah, I actually play Sekiro. joke, kinda. But I'm not against doing a game like Project Sekai because, you know, I'm a big Miku head. And I do like rhythm games. I played Friday Night Funkin' and I played Fortnite Festival. I know those aren't the most challenging rhythm games, but I do enjoy some rhythm games, so I'm not against trying them out. Which character would I send to Star Rail Welt style? Zhongli. I think he'd have some nice exposition to give the cast if we went over to Star Rail. Am I Shawnee Do? I don't know who that is. Would I rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or unlimited games but no games? I'm not answering that question. I know exactly what that's coming from. Favorite Wattpad fiction? I don't know what that is. Can I show you my domain? Yeah, I don't really have much going on aside from this one area over here. This was the area I made for the no healing intro, but other than that, it's just me throwing stuff together to max out the farming on there. What tips do I have for a newer player? For a newer player, my tips are to invest in the characters you like, play the game at your own pace, do not feel rushed to do anything, and just remember to always level up talents, weapon materials, and character levels whenever you reach a new ascension. If I had to fix a character, who would it be and how would I fix them? So there's another question that's similar to this. It's like asking about the starter characters. If I had to fix them, which would it be? And I guess I'll kind of combine it with this because those are the characters I have the most experience with. I would probably fix Lisa and make it to where her tap skill gives particles, because it doesn't. The only way to get particles with Lisa is to hold her skill the entire way, which just, it takes too long. It's terrible. So make it to where her tap version gives a little bit of particles. Then there's Amber, just making it to where you can shoot Baron Bunny to activate it automatically. That would fix the character. But I mean, those are the first two that come to mind. If I were given the opportunity to improve Electro Traveler, how would I do it? Shorter cooldown on his skill. I don't know why it's 13.5 seconds, and the fact that they put a half second there means like they actually thought about it for some reason. It's way too long. Other than that, the best thing I can think of for them to do, lowering the energy requirement for the burst. That would basically fix the character. How do you think Pyro Traveler will turn out? What do you expect or want their gameplay to look like? like, and what rank do you think they will be compared to the other Traveler's elements? You can't get any lower than Hydro Traveler, so they're not going to be last. Ideally, I'd want the character to be a main DPS, but I think a sub DPS is likely, to be honest. I'd love for there to be a main DPS where it's like the skill imbues your attacks with fire, and the ultimate does like, I don't know, a big burst damage of fire, and it just like draws enemies in, but I don't know where they're going to go with it. Do I regret the Kazuha constellations? Not really. I mean, it's nice to say I have a C6 character, and I mean, I always use them, so it's not a full waste. And I mean, Raid Shadow Legends basically paid for it, so I didn't really lose out on much. If I could have one skill or burst from Genshin, what would it be and why? For me, I would probably go with the Wanderer skill, just so I could be able to fly around. I think it's a pretty good pick to go for, to be honest. What is my hyperfixation? Probably professional wrestling, specifically WWE. If you're talking about right now, it would be Game of Thrones. Have I been to, or do I have any relatives in Indonesia? No. I've gotten a lot of comments like that on the Kaya video because of the meme I put early on. No, I have no sort of relations to Indonesia, and I have never been. The only reason I put that meme there was because it's the, we are not the same meme, and I wanted to put a spin on it. It's one of those memes where it's like, you see the image, you know exactly what it means, so I just wanted to have something different on there, so I just picked that version of a meme from a different language. I think I did translate it, and it has something to do with, like, cigarettes or something. I don't know. I can't remember. Did I happen to find my MBTI, and if so, do I agree with it? So we actually did a personality quiz on, I think, day 7 of the No Walking Challenge, and I found out that I was a INFJ. I have no idea what that means, so I can't say if I agree with it or not. Do I think Hao is funny? I think he can be funny at times. I don't think he's as annoying as the characters in the Natlan quest try to make him out to be. To me, he's no worse than Paimon is, so he's kind of whatever. He does have some funny lines, but I mean, my general view of things is I would much rather a character be cringe than boring, so yeah, I'm okay with the Hal, and I do think he's funny. Would I rather match your freak, go Riz for Riz, or go Gyat for Gyat? What is your favorite constellation and why is it Gleeful Songs? Gleeful Songs is my favorite constellation because there's no other constellation in the game that has it to where every 10 seconds you gain 1 energy. Nothing else in the game is like that, so by default, Gleeful Songs just has to be my favorite constellation because of that. Can I rank the Archons on how much I like them? Sure, we'll go from favorite to least favorite. This is like counting like lore, gameplay, character design, stuff like that. So it would be Furina, Venti, Nahida, Zhongli, Pyro Archon, and Raiden. If I was cursed to watch only one anime for my whole life, which would it be? Probably One Piece, just because it's so long. I feel like that'd be the best solution. You don't have to worry about it repeating over and over again because it's over 1,000 episodes. What is the best written character in my opinion? For me, it's either Furina or Child. Those are my 2 favorites. How do I keep myself entertained while doing these videos that probably take weeks? I have music playing in the background. I'm either talking to friends or I am listening to a podcast. It's one of the 3. How to have an iron will like you. Set a goal for something you're passionate for and just do it. How long do you want to continue YouTube? As long as I can. How do I streamline the process of editing? I just do stuff day by day. So usually when I'm done with the footage, when I'm done recording, the next day I will put the footage on a timeline, then I'll make a script. That takes a whole day. The next day I'll proofread it in the morning, and then in the afternoon I will voice the script. The day after I'll work on like the intro and the anime opening. The day next I'll do Mondstadt and just so on and so forth. I usually try to start from beginning to end. Earlier on, I used to just edit at whichever point I felt like doing, so I ended up wasting just a lot of time, so now I go from start to end, day through day. How do I know so much about Genshin? Like at the start of the No Stamina Challenge, you had to climb for the first time, and you found the way to climb without using stamina. I'll log onto my main account. If there's an obstacle I see coming, I'll see if I can do it on my main account first. So for that main account, I did the first path, and when I came across that one part, I just kept jumping at the side to see if I could eventually do it, and luckily I was able to. What is the best character in the Genshin universe to solo a run, and why don't you make a video about that character only? I mean, I basically did. I think Bennett's a very good contender for that position, to be honest. Have I tried other Hoyo games? If no, which one would I like to try? Of the ones you listed, I've played HSR, ZZZ, and Genshin. For the ones I have not tried, I heard Tears of Themis is a dating sim, so I think that would be absolutely hilarious to try if I had to choose one. Why did you change the rarity's color when getting a 4-star in your old challenges? I just thought it looked cool. There's no, like, big reason. I just thought it looked cool. What are my thoughts on the storyline of Genshin and how the Archon quests are all about going to the next region, meeting and helping the Archon, and it feels repetitive? I mean, I can't say I'm too surprised. They're called Archon quests for a reason. It's going to be about us trying to talk to the Archon because we're trying to find out about our missing sisters, and the Archons are the only ones close enough to helping us with that solution, so I can't say I'm surprised. I still enjoy the main storyline of Genshin. Am I going to do a no grass challenge? I have thought about that. I know there's a comment earlier that said, do I take inspiration from some of the comments? And this was one of them. I have thought of doing a no touching grass challenge. I think it could be interesting, but I don't know how great it would go. Can I show you my 5-star characters? Sure, here's the list. There's not much to it. I don't pull for every 5-star. What character do I think should be added to standard banner? Off the gate, I would just go Albedo simply because they need Geo on that banner. And aside from that, I go Eula. They never want to give those characters a rerun, so just put them on standard banner. I have Albedo, and I'm not going to get offended if they put him on standard banner. I really don't care. Who is my favorite and least favorite Harbinger and why? So my favorite Harbinger would likely be either Child or Scar and Moose, simply because of their story. Least favorite would probably be Senora, because we know the least about her. She's just kind of evil woman. There's not much to her. I saw you made some Japanese jokes in several videos in the past. Do I speak it, or is it just for the videos? Yes, I do speak Japanese. I studied Japanese for 3 years at university, and I have a minor in it. Fito-san, totemo omoshirou desu ga, naze jibun wo kuroshimeru no ga suki na no desu ka? Kono video de mo kotaemashita. Ima nihongo de hanashite imasu. Omoshirou dakara. Nihongo no wa hanasanai hito wa tabun, nani o imasu ka? To omoimasu. Tonikaku, kono katai wa Kyufyu hachibyo desu. Nihongo wa jouzu janai desu. Gomen? What character do I relate to? I see you as Howhatham because he's also very funny and attractive. I haven't seen a Genshin character and thought, OMG, he's literally me. I've been told I'm like Venti, so do with that what you will. Not because I'm a twink, but I don't know why, but I've been compared to Venti in the past, so I don't know. Do I have any IRL pets? Yes, I do have a dog. And what animal/creature from Genshin would I keep? The axolotl. How to get the voices to quiet down? Just let them in. For this question, it's basically what do I think about power creep? To me, I'm not too bothered by it because every game now basically does power creep, so I can't say I'm surprised. It's inevitable. You want to market new characters, you just make them better than the old ones, so I'm not too bothered by it because I saw it coming. Will I ever open a Discord server? I don't know because I'm not really a Discord guy. Like, I haven't been on Discord in a couple of months simply because I've just been like locked in on videos, so it's really not my thing. It's not a priority for me at the moment, I'm sorry. Can you give us all of your credit card information? Sure.
It's 1142. Eat my ass.
Will there be a co-op challenge? In the traditional Genshin sense, no, because you can't do a story quest with someone in co-op at the same time. Should you give up your aspiration of being a vet and just settle, or should you do more? If you are okay with settling, then do that, but if your dream is to be a vet, then don't give up on it. You don't have, if it's your dream, there's no time limit on a dream, okay? As long as you have that dream, then you're able to go for it. Just because you're not able to do something immediately doesn't mean it's never gonna happen. If you need to take a break, if you need to gain more money to start being a vet, then do that. It can be easy to fall into the trap of trying to do something before you're ready, but the best thing to do is just get into a comfortable situation to where when you start vet school, you'll be ready to do it, and you won't have, and if the worst happens, then you'll have a backup. Would I rather have 80,000 primos or infinite resin? Infinite resin. You can go through 500 pulls in like less than an hour. I would much rather have infinite resin. Would you say that people don't care about your main Genshin account content creation wise? I think it's different for everybody. I think as long as you have entertaining personality and a good idea for a video, people will watch it. But I do see the appeal of people starting over because a lot of people who play Genshin are probably like 40 and beyond, so it's been a while since they started the beginning, so it's nice to see someone else start the beginning of the game and do a little twist to it, instead of just watching someone who's like AR60 and just one-shotting everything constantly. Will I ever do the entire R&R quest in any of these challenges? No. Who do I main in my regular account? It changes like every 3 weeks, but right now I'm maining Kanich. I use him a lot. I use Bennett, Baiju, Kazuha, Kanich. That's my team right now. How do I keep being humble while I'm so great and amazing? It's truly remarkable. Yeah, humility is when you're someone as great as me, humility is a really important trait to practice, so I always, like when I look in the mirror and smile and say I look great, I always remember to stay humble afterwards because, you know, not everyone's like blessed, so because not everyone's able to be in this position, so it's always important to stay humble when you're better than people because they don't need to know that you're better than them. What is the most profound life lesson you've learned from an unexpected experience, and how has it shaped your view of the world? For me, it would be, I try to think more positively about stuff, not like I'd make sure to draw a line between being optimistic about a situation and doing toxic positivity. There was an experience last year involving my dad where he got sick, and it was a very scary time because we didn't know what it was. Our local hospital couldn't come up with a solution, and we kept driving to different hospitals and they did not have an answer, and it became a very confusing time for everyone, and everyone was always preparing for the worst, but I always made sure to try and keep a positive outlook because when you start thinking thinking negatively seems like you're giving up, but that's not a fair thing to do. And when you're surrounded by negativity, it's easy to give into negative thoughts. So I did my best to try and be positive when I was around him, because I didn't want him to give up. And he thankfully he didn't, and he was able to recover from that situation. And since then I try to think more positively on people and like on different outcomes, just because it's really easy to give into negativity. And as you guys have seen, I don't like doing things the easy way, but it's always important to be positive, because even as long as one person believes in you, then you have someone who believes in you. You know, there's a reason for you to keep going. So that's something that I've learned and try to keep going with. What is my favorite food to eat while doing the challenges? I don't snack much while doing a challenge, but if I had to, sometimes I'll eat peanut butter crackers, but that's about it. Can I give you a shout out? Yeah, I sure can. But here's a shout out to this guy, Chad. His name, for some reason his name's not showing up, but here's a shout out to this guy. Who is my favorite JoJo character? My favorite JoJo character is Johnny from part 7, but if you're not there yet and you're mainly talking about the animes parts 1 through 6, my favorites would probably be, I guess I'll do one from each part. Part 1 would be Dio, part 2 would be Joseph, part 3 would be Kathreyne, 4 would be Okuyasu and Kira, they're both really good, part 5 would be Bruno, and then part 6 would be Jolene. What is my opinion on Kaya X Rain?
Cryo is always far more effective in the rain.
What is a book I would recommend? A Song of Fire and Ice, read Game of Thrones. What is my best artifact? My best artifact would be this one right here. I'm recording this live, so I don't know which one it is, but I'll find it eventually. Who do you main in Smite? So for Smite 1, I played Rom and Uller. Those were, I primarily play carry, and those were my two favorites. In Smite 2, I play on her at the moment because those two are not in the game yet. What is my favorite cutscene in Genshin Impact? For the Archon quest, it's probably the ending of Inazuma. I love the ending of Act 3 for Inazuma. Every time I'm doing a challenge, I usually stop at the second monitor and pay attention because I love the song and the ending narration. If we're not including Archon quest, probably that one event in Fontaine from Inae's little penguin guy. I like that one event when you're helping the kid who's like sick and his mom. That's a good one. What is my favorite part of the Genshin map? The island in Inazuma that looks like the Among Us guy. That one. Do you wear wigs? I'm not bald. I don't know why some people think I am. I'm not bald. No, I do not wear wigs. I have natural brown hair, okay? Do I paint my nails? No, I don't, because my fingernails are not in good shape, so there's no reason to paint them because it's not going to look good. Do I play any competitive games like League or R6? I guess competitive games, but I don't really pay much attention to the ranked because it's just not as fun. I don't really take gaming that seriously, and when I have to deal with like sweats, it takes the fun out of me, so I don't pay much attention to it really. What characters will you recommend for people who are kind of bad? Shielders, get yourself like a Noelle or a Zhongli. Zhongli really helps if you're bad. Bennett, he heals and gives your team an attack buff. Xingqiu, if you just look up the best characters in Genshin, that will help you out. The broken characters will make you feel a lot better than you actually are at the game. What is my favorite side/world quest? I really like the world quest on Surumi Island, the foggy one in Inazuma. That one was special. I like that a lot. How long is my game time in all, so including my main account and all the challenge accounts? At least 1,000. It has to be at least 1,000 hours. If I had to be one NPC in the game, which one would I be? The one in the courtroom who says, woohoo! Why don't I hire an editor? Simply because editing is what I enjoy the most. If it gets to the point where I have so much footage and I don't have a lot of time, then I will likely try and find an editor, but at the moment, I like editing too much to hire someone else to do it for me. If Genshin had a crossover with any anime/game, what would I want it to be? If they ever did one, I would love if they did one with Horizon Zero Dawn and added a character called Aloy. I think that would be really cool. Jokes aside, the only one that comes to mind would honestly be something like what Star Rail is doing with FGO. I'm really excited for that collab, and I would have liked if Genshin did something similar, but after how Aloy went, I really don't expect Genshin to do any other collabs because, let's be honest, that was pathetic. What is the best way to dispose of a body? So usually what you want to do first is chop up all the different parts of the body and then just put it into a bag. After that, what you want to do is go to like a remote location. Am I ever going to do Aloy only? It's not entirely off the realm of possibility. I've gotten emails from people saying that they have an Aloy account that I could maybe use. I would maybe can do it. Compared to other characters, I would consider that the most, but when it comes to character onlys, my eyes are mainly on the Archons and a Standard Banner 5 stars. What are my nation rankings in terms of I would live there? Number 1 would probably be Mondstadt, number 2, Fontaine, 3 would be Liwa, then we've got probably Sumeru, then we've got Sumeru, Natlan, and finally Inazuma. I have Inazuma last simply because it would be a hassle going between all the different islands. It would just get annoying, assuming I don't have teleport waypoints. Which cooking seasoning do I use the most? I used to use a seasoning called gunpowder seasoning. I'd put that on my burgers. I love that seasoning so much, but I don't have it anymore, and I don't put this on my burgers, but now the seasoning I use the most is probably lemon pepper. What is my favorite color? Two favorite colors, and they are blue and pink. Those are my favorites. Absolutely goated colors. That's exactly why I have them as my channel logo. Do I think Genshin Impact will end in Conria, or will we have more content or Genshin Impact 2.0? The end of the main story might take place in Conria, and we'll have like events afterwards. As for Genshin 2.0, I could maybe see it happening, to be honest. I wouldn't be that surprised. Will I complete a world record speedrun of Genshin? If I ever did a world record speedrun, it would be for like AR 5, 10, or 15. I don't know if I could do the entire game, because that would require me staying up and just clicking through like 8 hours of story. I really don't think I could do that. I thought about doing something like that in the past. Like when it was just Inazuma that was released, I thought of doing a sub 24-hour run. Could it be possible? Maybe, but I don't think I'd be going for it. What is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? Pursuing your own happiness. Have I played other gacha games that are not MiHoYo? Also, what is my favorite gacha game? So favorite gacha game, I guess by default would be Genshin, but the other gacha games that I played that are not Hoyo related would be, I guess, Wuthering Waves and FGO. What is my favorite game mode in terms of gameplay, like the non-gacha part? I guess I would have to say the events, because sometimes it's something new to do for the game, so that's always like a nice refresher when you're not just exploring, killing enemies, collecting chests, doing all that. How do I feel about the Genshin story as a story? As a story, I think it's a great story. I just think the storytelling is not that good, but as a story, I think it is a good, intriguing story. Making artifacts with sanctifying elixir, is it worth it? If you feel like waiting like a month, go for it. Me personally, I don't care enough to do that. What happened to the feat tier list and some of the other videos that got deleted / unlisted? They're on a playlist called videos that I'm not really proud of / videos that aren't good. So if you ever want to see one of the older clickbait videos that I did, go ahead, go right there. Do I have a character that I regret pulling? Yes, Ayato. I thought he looked cool. I thought his gameplay looked cool, but the character is incredibly average. I regret pulling him eventually. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would I recommend Genshin to someone? For me, it's a matter of if they like open world games and if they are okay with dedicating a good amount of time to a game. If someone is okay with open world games and they're okay with having an experience to where they could literally play it for 10 minutes or 2 hours, then yes, I would recommend Genshin to somebody. Now, if someone's looking for engaging, like, hard gameplay, tons of in-game content, no, I'm not going to tell them to play Genshin. But if someone wants a nice, calming experience, you can do whatever you want at your own pace, while having a good story, great music, fun combat, then yes, I would recommend Genshin. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give someone an 8, but it's hard to recommend a game to someone that I don't know, so it's mainly going to depend on what that person's interests are. I want to impress a girl, please help me, tell me your secrets. 2 words. Werewolf strategy. What is my favorite manga and why? So my favorite manga is JoJo Part 7 Steel Ball Run. The main reason I love it so much is because I love the story that not only the main plot is about, but just the story that the characters also experience on their own. I really like watching Johnny's development. I like watching Johnny's development and just how it really feels like he matures as a person. I loved watching him go through that. And it was also one of the things to where it's like, as someone who had to like watch and read JoJo, Part 7 felt like such a breath of fresh air. It felt like it was also a reward for if you'd watch the other parts. Even though it takes place in a completely different timeline, he still rewarded you if you paid attention to the main series. And it seemed like a story that he really wanted to tell, and it was a great journey in and out, and I loved reading it. Do I play Overwatch? And if I do, who is my main? I don't play Overwatch that much. I have phases when it comes to Overwatch, but it's a love-hate thing. And when I did play, I'd mainly play support. And if I'm playing support, I usually play Ana. If I'm DPS, I usually would play Cassidy and Hanzo, and when it came to tank, I'm a Winston guy. So I play a bunch of roles. I like to flex a lot, but when it comes to which characters I play, those are the 3 main ones. What is my favorite elemental reaction? So like you mentioned in the comment, I do like Bloom, just because I think it's funny. Aside from that, I really like Freeze. It's just such an easy mechanic, and it's like making it to where enemies can't move. It makes life so much easier. I like Swirl a lot also, mainly because of Kazuha, because Kazuha's swirls look pretty. That's the main reason I like swirls, when they look good. I really like Electro Charge once it's against a large group of enemies. Seeing the electricity bounce between so many targets is definitely a really cool process. Those are the favorite elemental reactions, but Bloom stays on top. What do I think happens after death? I'd like to believe that there is a place for everybody after death, and who knows, maybe like when you die, you get maybe get an option to like go into a place and just chill with everyone else who's died, or maybe get an option to like, I don't know, take another soul and be born anew. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I couldn't really tell you the answer to that. What is my favorite episode of of Bluey? The obvious answer is to say the sign, but I think that's everyone's favorite, so the real question is to ask what's the second favorite episode of Bluey, and for me, that would be, Rain. I really like that episode. Since I like Resident Evil 4, who do I simp for? I think the only real answer here is Leon the Sex Kennedy. I think that is, like, the only fair answer to say. Alright, so I'm guessing this question is how long does it take a video to upload? For a character only, it takes about 2.5 hours, but for one of the longer videos, like a non-character video, they can literally take, like, half a day even more to upload alone. Uploading it on YouTube takes about an hour and a half. Exporting it from Premiere literally takes me like 5 to 6 hours for some of those videos. It is ridiculously long. What did I think about the end of JJK? I don't think the ending was great. To be honest, it seems like Gege picked, like, literally all the wrong dialogue options, and we got one of the worst endings possible. Even if you just ignore the fact that a certain character didn't come back, there's so much that he set up and just did nothing with. The ending was just, it was just a bad ending. It was literally bad guy died, everyone lived, yay! I feel like we missed out on a lot of plot lines and character interactions. I feel like there was a lot more to the JJK world. The ending was not a good ending. I think it's pretty evident because JJK was on top of the world like a month and a half ago, but now nobody even talks about it. It's just a bit of a stinker ending in my opinion. But would you lose?
Nah, I'd win.
Do I like the solo leveling manga and anime? I have not seen the anime, but I have read the entire manhwa, and I will say that I did like solo leveling. It's not amazing to me, but I enjoyed it. My problem with solo leveling is that it is quite literally the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's cool, but it's the same thing. But I enjoyed it. I give it like a 7 or 8. Have I tried Dislight? If not, could you look at the characters and pick out some designs that stand out to you? I have not tried Dislight. I have heard of it though, and the premise is something that I would like. I like mythology characters, so yeah, I'll look out some of them for you. So I'm pulling up a character list so I can only see like the faces. The ones that stick out to me are, I like Zeus's design, I like Horus, Hades looks cool, Jormungandr, the World Serpent, he looks very different than how I would imagine. Najah looks pretty cool. That's probably one of the more, that's a very different iteration from how most media depicts Najah, so I like that one. I like the Apollo design that taps into the sun more than most other media depict Apollo. Odin has a very unique design. Set looks really cool. I like Set. Jonquay looks neat. I like his design a lot. Loki's got I don't think I like it. It sticks out like a sore thumb and like on the screen I'm looking at. Fenrir also looks neat. Wolf Clan represent. You love to see some representation right there. So those are the designs that stuck out to me immediately. But this is definitely neat. This actually makes me want to try out the game. If I could C6 R5 any character for free, who would I choose? Either Child or Shao, because their C6 just seem a lot of fun. Basically, they can spam the fun parts of their kit without any downfall, so I would probably do that. Is C6 Kazuha worth it? Truly, I will say no. Mainly because the buff you get at C6 literally lasts 5 seconds, so you'll get one normal attack string off, but that's it. For Kazuha constellations, all you need is C2. C1 is good enough, but if you want another constellation that actually helps, it is C2. You can stop there. What are some other streamers that you watch at your free time? I don't really watch streamers much in my free time. I mainly look at clips that like I'll see on Twitter, stuff like that. In my free time, I'm mainly just either playing games and talking to my friends or watching a YouTube video. I can't really watch streamers because, like, I can't put a streamer on and work because if I have a streamer on in the background, I'm gonna want to look and see what they're doing. But so I can't. I have to turn streams off while I'm editing. I cannot focus. So I don't watch streamers much anymore. I used to watch a lot when I was younger, but at the moment, I don't watch a lot of live streams. I'll occasionally pop into some, but I just can't. My brain gets too distracted. Have I ever cried over any of these challenges? No, I have not gotten to the point of crying, but the Lisa Aleph section, that took me like 3 days, I think, 2 hours, but over the span of 3 days, that one was brutal. If I ever would have cried, it probably would have been at that. What do I think of ASMR? It's honestly not for me. I'm not a big fan of ASMR. I'm doing this right now as a joke, but I don't listen to ASMR content. It's just not for me. What is the worst Archon quest to do in my challenges? So for me, it is, I know I meme Sumeru Act 2 a lot, but for me, it's honestly like Fontaine Act 3 and 4. I just combine them because for what I do, it is pointless. The only thing I get to do is play as Furina for like 5 minutes. I do nothing in them. Can I say Lament? Lament. Is your family proud of you making these videos? Yes. At first they weren't. They really wanted me to pay attention more to school and like focus on a like quote real job, but now that I've seen I guess some success, they're more willing about the job and they're proud that I'm doing something I actually enjoy doing. So yes, they are proud of me. Have I ever played COD Zombies? Yes, I have. I played a bunch of zombies when the pandemic started. Now I don't play it as much. I played Black Ops 6 Zombies and I think it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Cold War, so I'm not the biggest fan of Cold War Zombies, and Black Ops 6 is basically that with some improvements, but it's not terrible. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Would I do a challenge where the viewers get to directly interact and decide what I do? I have thought of doing something like that and also trying to do a Twitch Plays Genshin. I do not know if I could get that to work, but I think that would be interesting. What is the place in my outro? So the place in my outro, it phases out. The first one is the cliff by Yaimiko's Shrine in Inazuma. The second one is the cliff by the portal that takes you to the abyss. Then there's the dragon spine, and once you complete the world quest and reach the top of it, that's the final spot. Those are all the places I used in Genshin for the outro. Who are my favorite characters in Star Rail? I really like Adventurine and Firefly. Those two. Are those who have left the Wolf Clan once allowed to return? They have to go to the Wolf Council and then they make a decision there. It's not mine. I hired a council to make, so they choose. Which Saurian is my favorite? Easily the green one. Whenever I see a grappling hook in any game, the neurons just activate in my brain. I immediately flock towards that. What is my opinion on other people's opinions? I don't really care, just don't force it on me or other people. That's usually how I view opinions. How did I become the Michael Jordan of Genshin Impact? I think most scientists today have determined that this title just likely came from genetics, so it's probably something in my code, if you know what I'm saying. What's your ideal Genshin ending? Just let them be reunited, please. And a real reuniting, not them being like a hologram or something like that. Let them be reunited. They could die like 5 seconds after, but let them have a proper reunion. What has been my favorite challenge so far and why? So for a challenge itself, I like the no teleporting one a lot because it was one, because it was actually possible, and two, I was doing it while streaming and I was able to come up with ideas with chat and we were able to solve some of those problems together. But in terms of like which video is my favorite, probably no healing. I think that's one of the best videos I've done and I'm very proud of it. I really like the writing in that video, specifically for the first half of the challenge, and that's the type of writing I want to be able to replicate for the future. I'm really happy with how that video came out to be. Plus it came out on my birthday and I was really stressing to get it out on that day specifically, so I'm very happy with that video. So this question is basically just asking, is it better to whale or just be free to play and patient? The way I see it is the game's entirely beatable free to play. Just saving your primo gems and pulling for the characters you like. The game is entirely beatable that way. It is mainly pay to speed up the process faster. If you really want to 36 star the abyss, just for some reason you really want to do that so badly, then yeah, go ahead and whale if you want. Me, I don't think there's really a need for that. I don't really see a pressure to 36 star abyss that badly. It took me a while to do it because I was mostly free to play during the beginning of the game, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, when you 36 abyss for the first time, it's a special moment, but in most situations after, you're gonna 36 star it anyway, so, and it's like, is it really worth it to get that extra, like, what, 200 primo gems now? That's what a wish. For me, it's like, if you really want something, go ahead and whale, but is it necessary? Absolutely not. You do not have to whale in this game. Opinion on the fact that they didn't keep Joseph's predicting ability in other seasons. I don't know if it was actually him predicting it, like it was supposed to be a early evolution of Hermit Purple. I've mainly viewed it as just, it was a trick he pulled to throw enemies off their guard. Like, he would say a line that would fit what they would say in that moment, then in response, they say it. Not him actually predicting it, but they say it as a response to that line, and then they get surprised by it. That's how I viewed it. So I can't really say I'm not surprised because part 3 is not about Joseph. Part 4 is not about Joseph. He's an old man in part 4. He's not gonna do something like that. It did not bother me that much. It served its role in part 2. It did not have to come back. And for the last question, find the volume of the solid generated when the region bounded by the curves y equals sin x, y equal cosine x, and the x-axis between x equals 0 and x equals pi divided by 4 is rotated about the x-axis. I am not gonna do that.
Tell me why